Podcast, the best of the underground. Big Madness, your ritual.
Ritual Madness Podcast. You know what time it is. It's Friday. We're here hanging out. Thank you for joining us. If you are, we are listening to Ritual Madness Podcast, episode 151. Black Flood Diesel returns. Do me a favor, check out ritualmadnesspodcast.com. On the right side, you can connect with us on a multitude of links, iTunes and Stitcher, both applications for your space phone, and you can look up Ritual Madness Podcast on there. Social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. I still have not caught up on my YouTube channel. I've got so many videos unedited and ready to do nothing. But do me a favor, download the Listen to My Radio app. That's LISTEN, the number 2, My Radio, and then search Ritual Madness Podcast. You can check out our station. We've got all kinds of local and national music, rap, fucking metal, all kinds of shit, comedy, good stuff. You can listen to us 24/7, 365. Right below there's a little Amazon link. If you shop Amazon, click that Amazon link, bookmark it as your own. Every time you buy something off of Amazon, it kicks us back a couple pennies at no cost to you. Below that, there's a little donation link. If you're feeling generous, please donate to the podcast. We'll keep things going here. If you're in a band or have friends that are in bands and you want to submit your music for the show or a possible podcast, do that at ritualmadnesspodcast@gmail.com. That's ritualmadnesspodcast@gmail.com. Also, I'd like to tell you about dotwpod.com. That's the Disciples of the Watch podcast. Gene and Nate do a great podcast over there. Check them out. Again, that's dotwpod.com. Also, the Root of All Evil radio show on Fresh Air Radio's KFAI, Sunday mornings at 1 a.m. till about 6 a.m. They do a great metal show every Saturday. It's Saturday, Sunday morning, something like that. Check it out. Also, I do a monthly Madness show at Lee's Liquor Lounge over in Minneapolis. Our next one is this coming. Let me see here. I got to click the shit here. Get it together. Friday, February 24th, with our guests and headlining the show, Black Flood Diesel, MC Rents, The Vault, TikTok, and Hex Vortices. It's going to be a nice mixture of hip-hop and metal. $2 Jack and Cokes, $3 Tallboy PBRs, 21 plus, $7 cover, 8 p.m. doors, 9 p.m. show. It's going to be a fucking blast. Lots to drink. We'd be giving away our raffling off $300 in tattoo giveaways as well from Lowbrow Saints Tattoo Collective. It's going to be a hell of a night. That's Lee's Liquor Lounge right over there on Glenwood. Come to the Twin Cities. Check out that show. It's going to be a blast. And again, you're listening to Ritual Madness Podcast, episode 151 with Black Flood Diesel. How you guys doing, man? Hanging out? What's going on?
Good.
Tell me something good, man. Anything?
Just happy to be back up in here, man.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's
what you were like my second or third podcast, and this is 4 years deep, so
yeah,
it's been quite a while.
I think I was the first guest that you had up in here.
I think second.
Yep. So it was episode 2.
Yeah.
Yep.
Episode 2, man. Yep. That's awesome. See, we go way back. This whole room, I think, in years, we're a fucking dog's age. I think many years of medals in this room here. So, Greg, you're the lead singer of Black Flood Diesel. Tell me, man, you took a little bit of a hiatus, huh?
Yeah, had to just take care of some business. Ended up going back living in Illinois, down in Chicago with my immediate family for a minute.
Now, that's where you're from, right?
Yep, I'm from down there. Grew up down there, but have lived up Minnesota. Minneapolis has kind of turned into my second home by proxy, second home. But
right,
I mean, I have more connections up here now, is what I realized, than when moving back home.
Sure.
So, went down there to handle some things, and then was gone for about 9 months. Came back, and we had talked about getting into starting up a new project.
Sure.
Chris and Don, were a couple of the cats that were going to be doing it, and then it just made sense. A couple other pieces fell into place with getting our old original drummer Eric Day, back in, and then he's not here tonight, but and then Max Posey, bass player. We played some of the biggest shows ever with those guys. We were going to play. With that lineup.
Looked super familiar, and I was like, where the fuck do I know this dude?
Yeah.
Everybody kept saying, Max, Max.
Bumpy.
Yeah. I was just like, what the fuck, man?
Yep. And so it just kind of made sense once we started talking about it, as like, well, we might as well just fucking put the Diesel back in play. We're going to be writing new music anyways. There's some people who still want to hear that stuff.
Right.
Well,
it's quite a catalog, dude. You guys, made a huge mark here.
Right. And so it's it just made sense. Just at this stage of the game too, it's like, you know, I just want to do it because I love doing it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, you know, we've done a lot of really, really cool things around here, and I'm extremely proud of it. Moving forward, I'm just, you know, as opposed to focusing on the hustle of like moving on up in the fucking world and this scene or whatever.
Right.
That's great and everything. I just want to write good music with guys I fucking love.
Sure.
You know?
Absolutely.
And that's how this kind of came back
well,
up.
when you have such a moniker here, you know what I mean? To just shelf it for, you know, whatever reason, you can still write great music in why, you know, like you said, why would you want to start, you know, well, it's Greg from Blackfoot Diesel and a couple of the guys from Blackfoot Diesel, you know, oh, so we're going to open the show.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's like, I don't think so, dude, you know?
And I look at bands around here, you know, a couple of that come up, you know, to mind off the top of my head that I've looked up to for a while as far as integrity goes. Dumpster Juice, Impaler.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, those bands have been around here for a long, long time.
Yep.
You know, they've seen the ups and the downs with the draw, whatever.
Absolutely.
But they just do what they fucking do.
Yeah.
And I have a ton of respect for that. And that's just, you know, kind of something like that.
To me, those are two icons in this music scene.
Yeah, you know, and if that's what this band, granted, you know, yeah, I mean, if fucking some huge break comes and we can, you know, grab it and take the bull by the horns. Really difficult to do in this, you know, climate of the industry.
Sure.
But if the fallback is, you know, becoming, you know, maybe our little community's versions of bands like that,
right?
I'm fucking cool with it.
Well, dude, you know, man, I have a lot of people come up to me and tell me that, you know, I was one of those people that helped them, influence them, and I know for a fact that Blackfoot Diesel is one of those bands from back in the day that people that are just a bit younger than us really do look up to. They really do appreciate you guys being around and coming back around. You know what I'm saying? So when you show up, it's very much you are their Impaler, you are their, you know, Dumpster Juice. So it's all, you know, turnabout. It's all fucking fair game. You know what I'm saying? So that's a plus. You know what I mean? You inspired a lot of people to play, man. You know, you played a lot of big shows around here.
Now we just got to get you back with the Sublevel reunion for a night.
How
about that one?
That will never happen. I will say never because I know for a fact that you know, half of those guys are far beyond it now. You know, they don't want to look back. Sure. I know, you know, one guy followed Jesus somewhere into a compound somewhere, and then other people found the Lord as well, you know, which is by all means, if you find strength in that, by all means do that. But, you know, when you just decide to push that music away and not want to have anything to do with it, it's beyond me. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you never know.
Yeah. You never know. I mean, it could happen. Something crazy could happen.
You were at New Band Night, 7th Street, when I saw you for the first time, and you had those yellow glasses on, man.
Yeah.
And then Steve Wolf of all people was like, "This shit's gonna be heavy, dog."
Right. Yeah.
I still remember, man.
Oh yeah, dude. That's crazy. So let's go around the table. Who are you, sir? Tell me what you do.
Don Tinsley. I am lead guitar. Well, rhythm leads. Both rhythm leads. Black Flood. Just been, you know, with Greg for last 8 years off and on, but been pretty steady. And it was just, you know, known Greg, obviously known both Gregs for many moons, but just Greg and I kind of in the scene off and on would bump heads and kind of, hey, it's like we're gonna do something, you know, a project or something one day, and then got a phone call one day out of the blue, and it's like, hey, you know, we want you. Right. And boom. You know,
it was destiny.
Right.
The two of us to intertwine.
Right. Absolutely.
And you know, so here I am, and it's been a fun ride because at that point when I hooked up with these guys again, I had pretty much washed my hands of it and
of music in general.
I got back from Arizona when I was doing, you know, with Tim from Cromlech, and we did the, you know.
Well, hold on, we got to back up because you got a lot of history in this scene as well, and I dated you back when you guys came for your first show.
You exposed my old ass.
And it's to me, it's, you know, I mean, it's great to see a cat, you know, that's been in it as long as I have, continuing and throwing down. And so, I mean, so where did you start? What were you? What bands were you in?
All right, so okay, you guys got about 45 minutes.
Yes, we do.
So no, met you know, Tim Radswell, my boy, drummer, and I just hooked up like just out of high school, and we're just kind of jamming with dudes left and right, and eventually we fell out of touch, came back together, and we had this thing, and had the guys. We became a band called Cromlech. Back in the day with Necromus and all that, and we got our little push was we got to open up for Power Mad, which was the deal at the time here in town. And so we did 2 shows at the Mirage with them.
And you guys played in the same studio as those cats. I remember coming down and hanging out, and you guys used to have huge parties down there.
Yep, at my Apple, yep.
Yeah, and the Power Mad guys would always bring the beer.
Yep.
And there'd be fucking, kegs rolling a Summit everywhere.
Todd and Joel were at Summit. That's what they paid us with our first show. We got paid with 2 kegs of Summit.
Right.
That they brought to the studio. And, the drummer at Power Mad, he just popped in the studio just one day, and Tim and I were just writing a riff, and Dodd just, North Carolina boy, so he's got his little accent, and he just jumped in, yo, play that riff again.
Right.
So we'd play it, all right, cool, and then he'd leave, and it's like, Tim and I at the time were like, is this guy going to start fucking biting music? What's going on?
Right.
He's bringing this back to Power Mad, and then a month later came down, we had a set, and he's like, all right, let's, you want to open up for us at Mirage? Yeah, big deal. So, and he was influential about making sure that we were main support.
Right.
So the first 2 shows we ever played as Crown, like we played for a fucking 1,000 people.
Right.
So it was like
that was huge back then.
Yeah,
huge.
Instant we had instant following after that, and it just spun onto that. So Crown, like we did our thing. Tim and I both got to Arizona, and
you guys jammed with a lot of people out there too.
We got hooked up with the guys from Fight after Halford left Priest, and he had Fight, and they did 2 albums, and then Mark Chauncey got Tim down there because Scott Travis left and went back to Priest, and so Tim got down there to that, got me down there. We had a band called Vent, which I was actually playing bass for.
Right.
Brian just wanted one guitar player, and he had really really weird tunings. Like he had his E and his A like an octave, so it was A, so it was just this real sludgy bends, but it's still heavy and bumping and all that. And then Rob started coming to shows, and then it was all of a sudden one night, Rob was, well, Brian, I'm thinking about doing a fight show again. We need to get a lead guitar player. And Brian's just like, well, fuck, Don's a guy. Right. And it was just, I just remember the look. Rob just turned around, looked at me, and just, really? And it was like 2 days later, fucking boom, we had a show booked.
Right.
And had 3 weeks of rehearsal to pull off a fight set. I got to play fucking Victim of Changes. I got to play Hellbent for Leather.
Right.
And did the Hellion Electric Eye with Rob. So, I mean, at that point, it was like, you can kill me now.
Right.
You can kill me now.
Yeah.
But, and that didn't run its course. Rob kind of did his 2 thing, and then that was it, and we kind of disbanded and moved back home, and that's when I was kind of done with it. And then
you guys jammed with some Flotsam cats too, didn't you?
I actually, I was down in Arizona for 6 months, and at the time they didn't see a fit for me then. Brian wanted to try to find quote unquote a true bass player. And so they had their thing, but Brian felt so bad. Brian Tillis, the guitar player, and so he hooked me up with Flotsam guys. They did a tryout with them. They liked me, but they went with somebody else, Right. And so whatever. It was fun to jam with Flotsam boys. And then came home and all of a sudden ran into Dodd again, and he was doing this project with Dave Rogers from Head Charge, and he had a band called LTD, and they were looking for a guitar player, and all of a sudden, boom, I'm back in.
Right.
And did that and did the LTD thing, and then after LTD, it was, at an LTD show, ran into Greg, and that was it. And Greg was just like, dude, you and I, we're gonna do something.
Right.
Project or something.
Yeah.
And then, that came and went, and a couple of years after that, it was just, by myself having a beer at a bar one night on a Tuesday night, I remember, and Greg just called me, he's like, can you learn
Get the band, man!
Yeah.
Together, man!
Greg's like, we're putting Black Blood together, and he's like, when they were going at the time, they just got off the road with Mushroomhead, so they were already, like, they're popping right then. And so he just, we got 10 days, can you do 10 songs? And it was like, sure, we got to jam every day. Absolutely. So I get down there, because we laughed, and they showed me half Take the Pain and gave me a CD, and it was like, all right, we'll jam next week. And it was like, whoa, oh shit. So
it's like that.
Yeah. And that's the way it's always been, seat of our pants, but it's all the guys in the band, everybody's professional.
That was a little bit irresponsible though back then. I will apologize to you about that, because that was a little bit much in hindsight, we kind of dropped one on you.
No, but dude, come on. When you know a player and you're like, all right, dude, I'm gonna give you this, and you put it on their plate, and you know the player. You're like, here, dude, you can have this.
There was no question in my
What
mind.
do you want me to do? That you didn't even give me a knife or a fork or nothing.
Yeah.
It's like fucking
There was no question in my mind though that you could fucking pull it off.
Right.
I mean, that was that, and so then once that was solidified, I was like, all right, done deal. Now you're not going to be able to get rid of me ever for the rest of your life.
Greg gave me a little Weber Smoky Joe, and he wanted me to roast a whole pig.
Right.
So I did it.
You're moving it inch by inch down the pig.
Yep. But yeah, that's my story kind of, and it's like never thought. I was one of the guys. I didn't like walk away from it, but I did. You know, it's like I'm just, I'm always going to play music. I'm always going to play.
Sure.
But
how long you been playing guitar?
Oh God. So I got my first guitar. I was in 9th grade. Many moons ago. I've probably been playing between 25 and 30 years.
Wow.
So
old motherfucker.
Yeah. As at the Mill City show, when you were introducing us, you were giving this fucking really, really cool. It was a heartfelt introduction. It was so awesome. But I was standing back by Eric's drum kit and we're listening to you, and you just go off on this. So I've known Don for fucking 25 years. We've been in the scene, and Eric just looks over and he's like, well, he just fucking exposed your old ass. And it's like, yeah. He did. It's like all the Grecian formula don't work no more because everybody knows I'm still gray underneath.
Yeah, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, moving on. Chris, tell me what's up, man.
What's up?
Chris Winter.
Yo.
Now, you've been in a ton of bands as well.
Yeah.
Run it down, brother. Run it down.
Let's see. Well, I was in obviously this band was in Wrecking Day for a while. Did a lot of shows. Downside of Truth.
And that's when we first met. You were in Downside of Truth, and you were with those guys for quite a while.
It was actually before that. It was Soulvein.
Okay.
The Quest for Mayhem, and that was like, and then Downside of Truth was like after that. But yeah, it's like every band that I've been in at one point or another, I've done like a whole handful of shows at Black Flood, and then like I think there was one day Wrecking Day was kind of like wrapping up, and that was kind of getting ready to be done, and I think Black Flood was I don't know if they were looking for a guitar player or something, but I was talking to Greg, and he was like, yeah, and then that was kind of winding down, and him and I started like another band, Speedball.
Yep.
And that went on for like a little while, and then then Black Flood did like the big, like in 2013 was like the big, comeback, return from whatever.
Sure.
And he calls me up, he's like, hey, you want to play guitar? I was like, yep. And that was the audition.
Right.
So and then just kind of did that, and.
Well, the Speedball thing we had going, and from the beginning, it kind of the deal was like, okay, my idea was, well, let's put 5 very combustible yet different people in a band together.
Sure.
And see how long this takes before it turns into total fucking madness. Now,
before Belushi's apart.
But before it blows up completely.
Speedball, dude.
Right.
That's what I said. Belushi, dude.
It's like, and in the interim, we're just going to get a quick dose of some fucking rad tunes, okay? So that was the idea initially. Well, the Doomsday Clock, I think I had set on it was maybe like between 2 and 3 years. Okay, well, it just like tripled up on that. Like that band lasted for less than a year because of the fucking questionable decisions and choices made by
everybody
multiple to all of us. So the inevitable, which I thought maybe we could hold on for like.
So now, who was all involved in that? I know Pete was involved, right?
Pete was in it.
Garf
was in it.
Yep, and then Limo.
Right.
For Mastiff, he played bass.
Right.
So me, Winter.
Yep.
Aaron Limatainen.
Yeah.
It's the most level-headed of all of us, probably. Pete, who is Pete.
Even to say that, because if you don't know Aaron is very level-headed, but when he gets fucking going, he is on fire.
Right.
That dude he's fucking a hoot, man.
Right. So, and the two of us, and then, of course, you throw Garfield in the mix.
Yeah.
Anywhere with anybody and anything, and it's the definition of the fucking wild card, man.
Right. Quantified.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Yeah, he's a character, man. That's definitely for sure.
Yeah,
he's one of them cats that if it doesn't go the way Garf wants it to go, it's gonna explode. You know what I mean?
And everybody's gonna hear about it.
Everybody's gonna hear about it. Those motherfuckers. Let's practice. We practice at my house and fucking. You know what I mean? It's like Facebook post after Facebook post, and then you get a hold of somebody else in the band, and they're like, what's his problem?
Yeah. Well, then you think you quarantine it off by like them 2 main profiles, and then you realize they're like, wait a minute, there's like 5 other profiles under some mystery picture. I didn't know who this person was. That's him.
Right. Yeah.
That's been Garf this whole time too.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Dude.
So that's how we first got integrated, I think, right? Playing live.
That's the first band that we were actually playing on the same stage. I mean, we've done so many shows over the years, all the way back to the Quest for Mayhem days.
Yep.
God, I miss
those days.
Yeah, I think the very first show that I did at Quest for Mayhem was with Soulvein, and somehow we ended up on the main stage for our first show, and Black Flood was headlining, and the band that was supposed to go on fourth or something. No, we were supposed to be in the Ascot room. That was it.
Right.
And the band that was supposed to go on fourth had to cancel. They had some last minute emergency or something.
Right.
And they needed somebody to fill it, so they just asked us, "Well, you guys want to go fourth on main stage?" So our first show was right in front of Black Flood Diesel, and So, and that's kind of the first time that we met. And then, countless shows in different bands.
Right. Yeah.
So it's kind of like the first Black Flood Diesel jam. I kind of already knew the songs because I've been listening to them live for so many years, you know.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So how long have you been playing guitar?
Trying to say this without exposing my age as well. We gotta say probably a little over 20 years, somewhere around there. When I was junior high. I got into the 80s thrash metal, you know, thing, and it was Metallica and Megadeth and all that stuff, and I was just like, I gotta fucking learn this shit, you know.
Right. Absolutely.
We got this BC Rich Warlock at was it at B Sharp Music that used to be over on
Oh
and Central.
I love that place.
Oh yeah,
real hood and real sketchy.
big time.
And that guitar was so hot. Yeah, that guitar was so stolen.
Dude.
Oh yeah,
Right. Yeah.
I loved that guitar too. It's gone forever, but yeah, that was the start of it back in probably 1989.
Heavy as a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Those BC Riches were
Yep.
heavy as shit.
Fat
They
tone, though.
look sick as fuck.
Yeah.
Man. But man, those things are heavy as
That thing wouldn't stay in tune. I mean, I was like a 12-year-old kid, so I didn't know how to fucking set up a, Floyd Rose tremolo and all that. And that thing I couldn't keep that thing in tune to save my fucking life. You know, I didn't care.
Right.
Turn it up, put more distortion on it. You know.
Yep.
Hell yeah. We got a special guest even, man. The man of the hour, the man of APOD, dude. It just blows me away. I never had a chance to have you come into the podcast. It just on happenstance, you just pop in with
that's how
Mr.
I roll,
Moog here.
man. You know, I have that effect. I just tend to blow people away. So.
Yeah.
Greg went already?
Yeah.
Really?
Where'd I go? I could have went somewhere. I'm ready to go wherever.
So what you been up to, man? What are you doing nowadays?
Like I said, Greg got me out of bed today, so I did call him though to get the motivation. So
it was a group effort.
yeah,
That's what it sounds like.
definitely. But I'm glad he did, man. 'Cause it's been a wicked day so far. So just hanging out. But yeah, musically, you don't know. So we go. Just really just writing, by myself. Haven't been doing a lot of shows or doing anything like that, and but really excited now just to get playing and talk to Greg today, and hopefully been playing a show at the Viking here. We'll talk about that later or whatnot. But really got back to the guitar. A lot of people know APOD is just me and the singer or whatever.
Yep.
But now just always had a love for guitar, man, and that's where I'm back now with. I've been playing guitar since I was 14 and 40 years old now, so we're all getting on. So now just really experimenting with those really deep, dark tones, and the things, it's getting darker and heavier and slower, and yeah, that's what I can say at this point.
Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. What's your project that you're working on now?
Yeah, backing off from APOD, I love the name and always loved it, but people tend to expect more of a band with that. Doing it myself now, so just sticking with the jealous jester, the evil little jealous jester cartoon character in my head there.
Nice.
So he's coming out and making him real. So
awesome.
that's the name I'm going with these days.
Oh yeah, man, awesome. Well, that's good. We got some tunes to check out. We've got Black Flood Diesel, Trained Professional. We've got some Testament, Practice What You Preach. Some Megadeth. Let me switch these over real quick. Some Megadeth and some Strapping Young Lad. Stick around, folks. We got a lot to get to tonight. Like I said, we got some good tunes, so stick around. We'll be back. What it is. I am the Hexakin. You're listening to Ritual Madness Podcast, episode 151, hanging out with the guys from Black Flood Diesel. Hopefully you guys are enjoying yourselves. Thank you for joining us. Do me a favor, check out ritualmadnesspodcast.com. On the right side, you can connect with us on iTunes, Stitcher, social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Download the Listen to My Radio app. That's LISTN, 2, My Radio, and search Ritual Madness Podcast. You'll be able to connect with our station. We'll do all kinds of good stuff on Friday nights, live podcast, and we upload those bad boys. And you can click the episode tab as well. 150 episodes up there right now. This one will be up in a week's time. You'll be able to listen to this in its replay fashion. If you're in a band or have friends that are in bands and want to submit your stuff to Ritual Madness Podcast, do that. ritualmadnesspodcast@gmail.com. That's ritualmadnesspodcast@gmail.com. If you shop Amazon, click the Amazon link right there and bookmark it as your own. Every time you buy something from Amazon, it'll kick us back a couple pennies at no cost to you. Below, there's a little donation link. Download, donation, it all works with the D. Donate if you feel so inclined.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it does. I appreciate everybody tuning in. So much support. Working on 5 years here. It's we're just into the new year. It is beautiful here in the Twin Cities in the 40s. Yesterday it was in like 13 or below. It was fucking ridiculous. And now we're in this springtime weather. It feels so unseasonal for February here in the Twin Cities. We listened to some Ministry. We did that one first. We did Black Flood's Trained Professional. How did you come up with the Trained Professional?
How did we come up with the trend? Okay, it's an interesting story about that. It was one of the first. It was actually, I want to say, it was the first song that was written. One of the guys that I started this band with.
Yep.
Departed to go do some other things,
Sure.
right? And before that, I hadn't really. I'd always just written the vocals,
Right.
Over the top of music that was brought in,
Right.
And at that point in time, the only way for the band to have continued to steamroll with the momentum that we had built up,
Right.
was like there needed to be a quick fix for more music, and so that was the first song that I wrote. More or less everything, as well, structurally speaking, all of it, and then some, tweaking intermittently in the middle of some of the parts. But it was basically just an empowering song, right?
Sure.
A self-empowerment of, this is what I do, no matter what.
Right.
I'm a trained professional, and then the second verse, had to throw in there. It's a little brief story about having to fuck someone's bitch because they talk shit. So, it's like I'm the man for fucking, being able to keep this alive. And now that you question me about
Right.
what I
want to bang your old lady.
Yeah, now you just talk shit about me about not being able to fucking do what I do, and now you're gonna see that I do it 2 times.
Right.
So
Did she enjoy it?
did she? I don't really care.
It's the principle.
Yeah,
it's the principle.
It's all principle. Yep. I you know what?
Spoken like a true pro right there. He's like, it doesn't matter what you think.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. Awesome. And then we listened to some Testament. Who picked the Testament?
That was me. That was Don. That was in high school when that came out, and Alex Skolnick, it was just boom.
Fuck yes.
That's what I want to fucking do.
Yeah.
And
He was he's still phenomenal.
yeah. Oh, he's fucking ridiculous. And he, like, if you dig back in Cromlech, like especially older, like even before the Black Album, for people that are all 25, you'll never know. But Graven Image and stuff like that, it was. You look into it. I mean, it's. I did everything I could without plagiarizing it.
Yeah.
We did it in our own way because it was more Cromlech was the death metal route, but it was just
Dude, even back then though, man, you guys had a writing style. I remember sitting down with Tim, before you guys were, recording some stuff, and he gave me the rundown on how you guys put things together. And I always thought it was the formula, man. You know what I mean? Like, you take what you love, the music that you love to listen to, and you don't steal from them, but you generate ideas from good players. I mean, people that you look up to, those, the nationals that you're like,
Yeah.
this is the way they do it. That formula, man. And Tim would always tell me about, man, lyric ideas where he would, he'd listen to a specific, verse from something, and he would just manipulate it and twist it and turn it into something, and remold it into something that would work for your guys' music.
Yep, and that was like in the Cromlech days. It was Tim and I. We get to the studio, and I know if Pat and Scott are listening, they contributed too. So sorry, boys, I love you, but Tim and I, we were. I mean, Tim was a fucking ridiculous workhorse.
Yeah,
we were down there, and Tim Scott had a steady girlfriend at the time. I was the only single idiot at the time, so I would be down at the studio with Tim probably 13 days in a row. Finally, Saturday night, I want to go out and chase some skirts.
Right.
Tim would be pissed off for like 2 days that I didn't come to the studio.
Right.
But we'd get there, we'd write the song, we'd get it up to the lead part, I would take it home.
Yeah.
I'd take it home and I'd come up with my own rhythm, play it for Tim, he'd arrange the drums, and it's like, because this is the keys I want the shit in. Sure. And any guitar player, any young guitar player, obviously now you can YouTube anything and learn a song, but get the book is called The Guitar Grimoire.
Yeah.
It's a black book with red writing on the cover, and it's got every scale and everything, and I just went and dissected that. Here's how I want to sound. Right. You go through all these scales, you find your spot, do your thing, and then come back, and then we'd have that, and then it was, verse, chorus, outro, or whatever Tim came up with, and that was it. and it worked many, many times.
Oh yeah.
And that was our go-to, and it was always, like everybody, it starts with the riff.
Right.
Right. You got no idea, and then there's one riff, and then boom, all of a sudden you vomit a song out.
Now, Greg, I remember back in the day too, you and I having conversations about writing lyrics, and you were like, man, I'm just having a block, at a specific time, and you and I throwing ideas back and forth, and then you coming back and explaining that you were singing or you were writing things in different perspectives of a story.
Yep.
Like you were the killer, you were this, or you were outside, narrating the entire story. And I would see you come back like a month later and you would have so many other ideas and so much other stuff. Now here's something that I really wanted to kind of touch on. In the very beginning of Black Flood Diesel, and I've been there since the very inception of the band, you guys had a lot of theatrics, to where, you had the smoking barrels, you had great lights all the time. I mean, the Quest days, man, you guys had always had a great show. You had you always wore like really cool fucking, jackets or, goggles or something cool. It was very apocalyptic back then. And now it seems very stripped down to where it's just back to the basics, back to the music, back to what you really are striving for.
Right. It's interesting with the production, and I mean, we put a huge premium on that for a while, and it's something that I absolutely wouldn't be opposed to, getting back into. I mean, I love that shit,
Absolutely.
I also think that there's
sets the tone for the whole thing.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's kind of a happy medium to try to find it, because I'm also I'm all in on that. Okay.
Yeah.
What I don't like is for production you need to have a bigger room, right? You need to have a bigger stage. Yep. Okay. And with that room, and there needs to be, you need to know that there's going to be the capability of the music scene or whatever it is, something. It's difficult to sustain on your own a draw of 400, 500, 600 people, right? It's
not like it used to be.
It's not like it used to be. So running the risk of booking bigger rooms, right, and then having a production and then having a turnout be, lower than what you need it to be.
Sure.
That, and at that point in time, it's almost like, well, fuck, man, I don't want to look like Spinal Tap.
Right.
At that stage, right? So the safe play, I guess, would be to you look good.
Right.
I mean, you always got to look good.
Right.
No matter what. That's got to fucking go down that way. And at this point, I'd rather play to 125 people that are like fucking foaming at the mouth for the music.
Right.
And are just getting shit-faced.
Sure.
And there not be enough room in the stage.
Right.
To have that, then hope that everything gets pulled off.
Yeah, big room.
Yeah.
And you have a whole production for 10 people.
Right.
A lot of pressure. Yeah.
Right. And so, and back in the day too, like what you're just saying, how it's not like it used to be.
Dude, there were people helping you. There
right,
were people, it wasn't just the five guys lugging all of this shit. You know what I mean? There were people who were on board saying, dude, I want to be at every one of your shows. I want to be a part of this.
We had guys that would run the smoke barrels on each side of the stage. And so that also what had a lot to do with that though too is, the work of bands like Sublevel, back when we were tight with the Head Charge crew, when all of us were, as a unit with the Dodd, that initial, and the APOD, you guys were a part of that at the very core, there was a handful of bands, I'd put the APOD in there and I'd put Sublevel in there and Head Charge, right? And then Dodd,
Absolutely.
and that I would basically put that as more or less the core
of
where everything else kind of came up from.
Right.
Okay, now those times were much different than they are now.
Oh yeah,
right,
absolutely.
And so the whole
people actually went to shows.
Yeah, they exactly, and they were excited for fucking new discs to come out, and where you couldn't just. It's difficult to get anybody to buy anything now.
Right. I'll just steal it.
Click, click, click. Yeah. Boom, got it.
So it's the short. I guess the short answer is I would love to have my cake and eat it too.
Right.
With the big production.
Sure.
That would be fucking phenomenal.
Right.
It's very, very difficult to marry. It was easy when we're headlining the main stage of the Quest,
right.
or we're able to book out First Avenue.
Yep.
I'll say that sure the numbers aren't through the door like they used to be for us, but that's across the board,
right?
With everybody,
it is across the board, and it's not for lack of good product,
right?
Because there's a lot of bands out there that are still doing good fucking music, and you guys are coming back and still doing good music and creating good music. It's just I totally get it. You fucking gas the room, and 20 people see it. You know, and here's a thought. You know, maybe it needs to be that way sometimes, to where those 20 people go and say, man, those guys put on a show, you know, of epic proportion for a handful of people. They're drawing that back to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You never can tell, because you know, you could fucking totally shoot yourself in the foot and, you know, just be lugging around, you know, a trailer full of shit that you know, you can only fit half of it on half the, you know, nights you go out and play. It's a motherfucker. It's a double-edged sword for sure, man. You know, you don't know, you know, whether it's going to work or you're going to completely fucking shit the bed, man. That's a horrible.
We have toyed around with the idea though about bringing those fucking barrels back, though.
Right.
Because everybody seemed to like those.
Right.
And that was a pretty low maintenance thing to do, where you stack up the diesel barrels and whatever, you have the smoke columns coming out of it with the lights in.
Fuck yeah.
So I know we've kicked around that idea. And
Bring them back, man.
yeah, you know what? Maybe might have to fuck around with that here.
Yeah, man.
You never know.
But it is nice not to have that pre-show headache.
Right.
Yeah. You know, then
Well,
somebody's got to buy the fog juice.
Dude,
you know.
even you know, select shows, you know, where you really bring the full diesel back, you
Right.
know, to where people are talking about it again. Like, these guys are going full bore. And then, you know, playing at the Viking, where you know, you may not be able to fit all of that stuff on that stage, but they can come see that stripped down version of it's just fucking in your face shit. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
And I mean, people appreciate that shit, you know? And I mean, people, like you said, your last show, and, you know, there was a great reception at the Gata CD release, man. That was awesome. You could tell people were really stoked about that, man. You guys were going it. It seemed like you guys wanted to get in and get out. But man, people were very receptive to it, man. It was good to see the people in the crowd walking around and seeing everybody really into it.
Yep.
I mean, I went from the back, you know, went out and had a smoke and come back in, and you see from the front to the back, everybody really getting into it, rocking out. So yeah, man, I think you guys are definitely, you know, hitting the right spot, you know.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah, that was a fun night.
Yeah, it's
fun.
going from Mill City Nights to play the Viking, which was like, 'cause again, you say really stripped down, which it's like, it's MTV unplugged, but it's not. It's
Right.
still full bore.
Right.
It's like I said, it's just, you know, it's 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound sack.
Right.
You know, everybody just, you know, looking, just look at Greg, you know, we look at the stage, and so it's like, you know, well, what are we going to do with all that extra space?
Right.
You know?
Right.
And I mean, Greg's talking about, he's like, I might be fucking standing on the bar. And I'm like, I think that'd be a perfect spot for you to stand,
Right,
you know?
right, absolutely.
But that was a lot of fun, and that was plug in and go. And we, you know, no sound check. I mean, you just throw your shit up there,
Yeah.
and it was like, I'm still fucking, all right, here we go. It's like, whoop, you
You
know?
might be able to fit the barrels at Lee's, actually.
Right. Oh yeah.
We might be able to do
You
that.
could. You
know?
could for sure.
that's
Absolutely.
okay.
Yeah, it definitely could. It's a long enough,
Yeah.
you know, it's a wide enough you know, stage. Yeah, for sure, man. It's going to be a good time. I'm super stoked about that. Now, we've kind of hinted that about the Viking Bar. Now that's another project you kind of picked up just recently.
Yeah, it's the homeboy Mark Webster,
Right.
the head of security from the Quest from
Yep.
back in the day.
Yep.
Just got a hold of me online and was like, "Dude, we're reopening this bar."
So what's he doing down there?
He's works at the owner. He like runs the security there.
Right.
He's like the whatever. He's like the dude that he's the dude that makes sure the dude doesn't get fucked with.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what
Sure,
I mean? So
sure.
he handles some business, and he got a hold of me. He's like, "Yeah, we're reopening up this club. Fucking, I really want the diesel to get up in there." And I'm like, he's like, "Come down, whatever. Have a couple cocktails." So we went up in there, checked it out. I'm like, real intimate. Real fucking tiny.
Right.
But, okay, cool, whatever. We'll give it a rip. So we put together a solid bill. And, I mean, it went over well, you know.
Right.
It's, people, it's going to take a minute for people to get reintegrated with, like, that the place is actually fucking open.
Yep.
Because it's always been there, but nobody's ever gone in there.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it's a perfect location. And it's turned into now I've got, like, basically full control over the booking.
Awesome.
There. So...
Right. Where's that located at?
It's over on Riverside Avenue. Okay. It's over by the crack stacks over there.
Right
Ghetto in the sky.
right next to the Hard Times Cafe.
Crack
Little Mogadishu.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it is, dude.
Yeah, I told you, right next to Hard Times Cafe. Yeah, right there. So
right across from KFAI.
Yep. Yeah. So it worked out well, man. Like they're happy. It's given me something to do outside of music, so where I'm retouch, part of what kind of really, really just burned me out about working. I don't want to say working with people. Okay, is just a lot of the. Okay, I'm tired of you being nice to me. and me having to be nice to you, even though we really fucking don't like each other.
Right.
Like, so,
Right.
To go
There's
play.
a lot of that.
Yeah, to go play a show with you. So if I'm going to be nice to somebody and they're going to be nice to me, then I'm going to have, they're going to be thanking me.
Sure.
And they're going to have to be nice to me.
Right.
And, I show up and then they do what they do, and I'm going to be profiting off of them. That's great. I'm not going to, you know what I mean? That's a fine relationship, you know, and I also then don't have to do business with them moving forward if they're a cunt.
Right.
So there's not this
There's lots of those too.
Yeah. You know, unfortunately, dealing in a small community music scene, oftentimes you have to be forced to put up with the cunts.
Sure.
In order to play shows.
Right.
Now I can just weed out the cunts and still get my fix.
Right.
Working, you know what I mean? And establishing a vibe in the room that I think I think
and another fucking venue in the Twin Cities to play a show at, which is so nice because they seem to come and go,
Right.
and it's, you know, we can never establish good spots where, you know, there's going to be a great show when you do, you know, once a month or a couple times a month or however many. Are you planning on doing once a month or more than once a month? Or
right now, I mean, I got you know, Luke and the Jealous Jester project. It's the first show that I got booked in there, and that's March 11th. Okay. And then I got the dude MC Rents playing that, and then actually I'm looking for an opener to open. It's so 3 bands. But then so we got that in March, but then once April hits, I've got one date open in April. It's like April 7th, but otherwise I got April 8th, the 29th, the 28th to 29th, and then 3 dates in May.
Right.
So I've got the club booked out like 6-7 night dates.
Sure.
Up through June, and then once, you know, we get through March, then I'll be booking. I mean, I'll be booking damn near every weekend there.
Right.
Both Friday and Saturday.
Sure.
So what my goal is to keep it a sustainable. The guys, the place is so small. The guy's happy if there's 50 people and they're getting schlocked.
Right.
Right. Which is great. Yep. You're not looking. There's not an owner that's like, oh, where's my fucking 150 people paying drunks? You know,
You're right.
Yeah, looking for that.
Right.
You know, and it's a good deal. That
so he's shooting right to the middle. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Which is achievable for us. You know,
hate dealing with motherfuckers that are like, I want this place packed out, and if it's not, we can't do business. It's like, come on, man, be realistic about the shit.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And so, and I'm realistic with, you know, my expectations of what I need to be, you know, compensated for, and everything's fair, and the bands are all treated. The big thing for me is like, you guys are going to come in here, and it's more or less going to be an equal split for 3 bands, fucking right down the pipe, dude.
Right.
For, I mean, not a ton of money coming in, but everybody's going to be walking with dough, and there ain't no fucking squabbling over peanuts.
Right.
Because that's what it turns into anyways.
Right.
I mean, whatever, the Mill City show we played, ain't nobody getting paid a ton of money for that.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Yeah, we made a decent chunk of change, but I mean, shit, man. I mean, made just about as much the other weekend at the Viking.
Right.
It's all... You're looking. It's nobody's getting rich.
Right.
Nobody's getting rich.
Right.
And so for me, it's like, okay, it's a biggest deal for bands to be able to know that they've got a guy that has been there.
Yep.
Knows exactly fucking the problems that, you know, there are that you're gonna have, the venue's gonna have.
Yep.
And it'll be a consistent place to go.
Sure.
And keep it open that way.
Well,
Keep
that's
it
awesome,
rolling,
dude.
you know. And it looks like it's off to a good start, so I'm stoked about it.
Good deal, man.
Yeah.
That's positive, man. Very good, man. You know, and it's something outside of your own project. So you're not. It's such a good thing. It's bigger than just yourself. You know what I mean? You're helping the community of music,
right?
You know, with what you do, and that's the biggest thing for me as well. You know, doing things over at Lee's. I just started with once a month because that's what I wanted to. You know, get that. I probably could get a lot more dates out of it, but I figure. You know, just to get people to know that it's not just a country bar. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like a fucking, you know, a VFW. That's why I love it so much. It's like an old VFW. I used to go and hang out with my mom when she fucking sold pull tabs. You know what I'm saying? And there's some metal there, you know?
Yeah, when Greg told me we had the show at Lee's, that's I was like, the fucking Rockabilly Bar?
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's just like, okay, well, that's cool because that's a bucket list. I mean, it's an iconic place to play.
It's so much different than it used to be.
Yeah, but it's just like, that's cool. It's another one off the bucket list.
Great
you know?
sound, great lights.
And that's how I felt about the Viking, man. It was one of those you'd never think, hey, I never thought that was going to open up again. I mean, but literally back in the day, you got 5 people in there. It looked packed out with a stage set up for folk bands.
Well, I mean, all you guys know, you know, the entry, the days back in the day when you would pack out the entry, how much emotion you'd really feel in that fucking place when you're up there and the whole room is just fucking gyrating, you know? That was so much fun.
First show I played, I remember.
Yeah.
then
Short ceiling.
back
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, and you were in the giant petri dish, and right after the show, 3 of 5 guys in the band would have a cold. Like
Yeah.
2 days afterward,
Yeah.
everybody got sick in there.
Hell yeah, man.
Everybody, but it's just like, yeah, that was pretty.
Just
the Metal
inhaling.
Massacre days too, when the first Ave and 7th Street were going, and we always flip flop. You know, Necromus and everybody, Neurotox, everybody's on the main stage, everybody's on 7th Street. You didn't care where you played.
Yeah.
You didn't care
Because it was so amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, man. Those were the days, man.
Yep.
Holy shit. So what are you guys working on some new material? You guys working on a new EP or a CD coming up here or anything?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we're just Winter's he's got riffs galore, and I actually I brought one new one down that when I had my little mini studio, which kind of crashed right now, so I'll be building that back up again. But brought one down that everybody liked. But then I was just in Arizona to see Tim and had ideas, and came back from Arizona and brought one back and just check it out. And Tim's like, yeah, he helped me write a song, and he's like, yeah, bring it to Black Flood, and it's a little departure. It's heavy shit. It's a little more upbeat. It's still got the it's that bump and groove, but
We're going a little more towards the thrash, like musically speaking.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Guitar solos.
heavying it up a little bit, and but brought the last one back, and right away, and I was just telling Greg, it's like the hardest solid thing's going to be Eric, just because Eric is he is the quintessential meat and potatoes drummer.
Right.
He's not going to give you Neil Peart, but his meter is absolutely perfect.
Right.
The guy has a click track, and he just looks at it. It's 186 a minute.
Right.
Click,
Yeah.
click, click, and he's
No, he really does that. Yeah.
He's right on.
Yeah.
And we got to the studio next rehearsal when I got back, and he just sits down, he's sitting behind his kit, he looks over, he's like, yeah, that new one, that's awesome. It's like, all right. So that's what we're working on, kind of once I can get done with my work schedule right now and actually get back in the studio before everybody gets rid of me.
Right.
But yeah, it's just, and Greg again.
I was just saying to my wife today about how bad adulting sucks ass. It's like, fuck, man, the responsibilities that we never used to have back in the day. You know what I mean? Kids and bills and fucking, living situations, man. I didn't give a fuck whose couch I was sleeping on, man.
Yep.
Yeah, court. Yeah, exactly.
Court.
That's for sure, man. It's so much different than, like you said, going down to the studio for 13 hours in a day, you know what I mean? And then, fucking coming out of a weed stupor and going, yeah, we just, created fucking 4 songs,
Yep.
and skipping the weekends, skipping the weekends. Think about that. You're at the studio all week to skip the weekends where you normally would be at the studio on the weekends and skipping the whole fucking week. Nowadays, you know what I mean? Now it's, 2 or 3 times tops that you're able to practice, a week, maybe even a month. It's a motherfucker, man. It's so tough these days to get, everybody on the same page, man.
It's
so
after
tough.
a show, we are like, all right, Tuesday we're going to be, or Thursday we're going to be down there, and boom, 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 all the messages, and it's like, all right, I got this going on. So it's usually, it's like after a show, it's always a 2-week minimum that we're off.
Yeah.
And then get back. But it's, everything comes together. Like I said, it just, what I was going to say before is just Greg is, you bring new music down too, and we were at the studio, and all of a sudden he turns around, all right, play it again. Then he's on the mic, and he's already got stuff written down, and he's already going.
Right.
And he just goes back home in Woodsheds and comes back the next day, and he's just here,
Yeah, that's the way to do it, man.
Well,
That's
we email riffs back and forth to one another too, so that way it doesn't really require. Because it is hard for everybody to get down to the practice space. Everybody has adulting going on, So it's a lot easier to just record it at home and send it back and forth to each other and write stuff that way. And then we'll send completed or half completed song or something to Greg, and then he's got lyrics and puts it to it, and then we'll jam on it. So I mean, there's probably enough, just like bits and pieces of stuff laying around to create the whole EP. It's just we just
now you guys are of the age of the handheld recorders or the fucking, you got a riff, you're somewhere, you're on your phone, you're fucking making noises and shit, to where now, fucking everybody's got a studio. Everybody, I mean, I've got 4 different recording programs on one computer, you know what I mean? It's like, which one will work better, best with what you're, capable of, and then, cutting the riff and then sending it all over. We'd never had that shit when we were younger, man.
Where
It's
technology
so
is good.
Yeah.
This is one of the only things where technology is good,
Yeah.
To let adults get it, so like I said, you're off in your own life and doing your thing,
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely.
That's crazy. Just the thought process of like we were just saying, being at the studio and brainstorming so many good things where you could be, day to day, get a cool email, and then you disconnect from the rest of life for a little while to just, pound your fucking brain with a great riff, or what I mean? And it flows. It's so crazy how that shit juices on you, you know what I mean? You're just you're purging yourself day to day,
Yep.
As so many people that aren't in bands, and you try to explain that to them, what it's like to go in the studio with your guys a couple times a week and really just fucking bloodlet yourself, just rage. You're walking out of there broken sweat and fucking big smile on your face, like purge all of this bullshit that I got, all the morons in your day-to-day life that you have to deal with, all the cunts.
Yeah, the cunts.
Yes.
Well, yeah, the Viking show. I mean, we brought back, I think it was 2 or 3 old Diesel tunes that we didn't jam them collectively because we just decided one night, this song. Everybody at home, everybody came back and everybody had the riffs down, and that was it. And we ran through it 3 times one night. The next night we ran through it, 2 more times, and then it was last rehearsal before the show, and then did the Viking, and it was on. It was
now, dude, how has the reception been? Bringing back some old tunes like that. I know you do your mainstays, your trained professional, and the songs that people know,
right.
But the deep cuts, the ones that you guys bring back, how has the reception for that stuff been?
They like it. They definitely like it. There's some fans of ours that I know want even more of it to get brought back. From back in the day. So they like it. A lot of people like the old shit.
Yeah.
And so we dug back into, what was it? The song "Reborn." We played it. Well, the song "Into the Light," which is one of the. It's a video that we have, whatever. It's one of the more high-profile videos that we shot, at least, right?
Sure.
Was shot down in Mexico, and we, as much as like that song as that we pushed it as promo.
Right.
I think we played it live 4 times. So we played that one for the first time, over 5 years.
Right.
So people like that, and then we dug back into this song "Reborn," which is off of the first EP that we ever did back in fucking 99, 2000. So
God damn, that seems so far away.
I know, right? I know. But people like it, and there's more clamoring for some other older stuff. It all kind of gets dialed back into okay, for instance, I want to bring back into getting back into some of those old times, like that band Index Case.
Sure,
remember those cats?
Oh fuck yeah, man.
Yeah, we were just talking about them briefly earlier. I want to get them up here.
Right.
On a side note, I don't even know why I'm going over there with that one, but just the old school fucking vibe type of shit,
Absolutely.
Yeah, people seem to have a good response to it.
Right. That's badass, man. That's really good, man. So let's take a listen to some more tunes. We got "Take the Pain." Tell me about that one.
"Take the Pain." That was written in the same time frame as Trained Professional.
Right.
Same batch of tunes. And it's just, basically a straightforward perspective of, basically sucking it up and fucking
taking it on the chin.
Yeah, take it like a fucking man, when the shit's going south, because it's gonna again at some point,
And this next one, the Peeping Tom Mojo. I think of the Sound Gallery days when I think about this song. That whole, fucking the whole mantra that he says in the very beginning about drink it up, fucking shoot it up, chop it up,
Yep.
all of that shit happened in the Sound Gallery.
I love
many
that
dude, that shit was so awesome. And I think back at those days when I hear this tune because it's so fucking kick-ass. One of Patton's side projects, and I mean this dude is gold to music, man. This dude is fucking I really don't think he's done a bad band.
They can't do any wrong.
Right. Phantomus, Mr. Bungle, Faith No More,
Yeah, Lovage.
Yeah.
He's got that set, I think, with the dude from Gorillaz.
Yeah, and then he did some shit with Bjork as well, didn't he?
Okay, yeah.
It was just all vocalized instrument type shit, where they're not necessarily beatboxing, but weird vocal pitches, that they're doing together.
He's got a musical mind that's like
no other.
Like none other. Like, first, who the fuck? Where did you come from, dude?
Right,
He's got to be part alien.
What is that? I Am Legend too with Will Smith, the monster.
Yeah, he did all the voices. Yeah,
that's fucking Mike Patton. That's badass.
Yeah,
that's real cool. And Dillinger Escape Plan, I mean, that album he did with Dillinger is fucking amazing all the way through. That's good shit. He's phenomenal. And then we go way back. Who picked the Metallica?
Oh, that was me.
Yeah.
I had to think about that for a minute.
Nothing. Fight. What is it?
Fight fire with fire.
Yep.
That's the first song off of Ride the Lightning.
All right.
I always thought that thing just came in, it was all nice and mellow and shit, and then it came in just fucking,
Yep.
you know.
Hell yeah. And then some Overkill.
Yep.
So that's a crazy story, that Overkill show that you guys played at the Mirage. Was that Overkill or was that Propane? With where I came to your guys' van and you guys handed me a drum stand, and I think it was you or Tim that went around the corner, and there was a fucking whole bunch of dudes that were going to jump me. I punched that one dude in his face that night. Remember
Oh my god, that was yeah. That was
busted that dude's jaw. These two teeth right here were touching. I fucking shattered that.
Oh my god,
motherfucker.
well, there's a couple of those nights. I forgot all about that.
Yeah,
I'm driving.
I remember going, fuck, these guys are gonna jump me, and I remember walking to your guys' van, and you guys are putting all your shit in the van.
Yep.
And you're like we're all friends, we're all tight guys, yep. And you're like, we just got off stage, man. Here, and you guys handed me like this drum stand, and it was like just a metal pipe, and I'm standing there going, all right, fuck it, I'm just standing around waiting, and
I'm gonna get jumped.
Yeah, I cannot remember if it was you or Tim that came around that corner right by the loading dock there, and they were all right there talking about, man, we're gonna get that dude from the Chromas, we're gonna fuck that dude up, and I was like, everybody's going, go that way, so I'm like walking around with this metal pipe, like fucking dirt. Yeah, you guys saved my ass that night.
Oh
dude.
God,
That was crazy.
Now you're okay. I'm an old man now. I forget things.
Well, this dude was riding on the crowd, and I remember it was a Decker show.
Yeah.
Decker said to me, he's like, if you see anybody riding on the crowd, pull them down. There wasn't much security at the Mirage that night for some odd reason.
Yeah.
Nobody in the pit. And this dude with long hairs, I'd already pitted with the dude and slammed into him a bunch of times. So we had shook hands, and him and his buddies were all pitting, and the dude rolls across the crowd, and I reach up and I go to grab his collar, and I grabbed a handful of hair with it, and I'm like, fuck it, I already got it, and fucking yanked him down, and he flipped over, dude, and he just railed me, bam, right to the fucking face, and I staggered back, and I threw him the jab, and boom, shattered him, and then it just all broke up, and, the dude's like looking at me, and they're fucking threatening me, and, I'm going to get beat up and all this other shit, and he's going, it's fucking jaw's all jacked up, but that was, yeah, good stuff.
That was, it was in those days too. Though it's like everybody was all together. I mean, it was always a posse too. So if there was some outsiders coming in, nothing was going to happen.
Yeah,
there was nothing going to happen.
Yeah. That's the night that who was it that was trying to? Was that J-Mo trying to fight with Bobby from Overkill? You were there that night, weren't you? God. I think it's the same fucking show. I want to say it is.
Yeah, I don't see. We could have played with Overkill. I don't remember.
The sweet smell of violence was in the air.
Yes, absolutely, dude.
Because there was another night too where it was Pat and I. There was that brief period we had Mike and Joe in Cromlech, the singer and bass player, and Pat had this big beef with Mike way back in the day.
Yeah.
And you were actually the voice of reason that night because Mike and Joe were outside, and Pat was just running out across the parking lot from First Avenue, going to wreck him. And you just jumped in front of Pat, and it's just like, whoa. These guys are good. These guys are good. And it's funny because like 3 months later, Tim calls me. He's like, remember that Mike and Joe? Let's get them in the band. And so it's like, I'm down, but how are we going to sell this to Pat?
Right.
And it worked out for a minute, and then it ran its course, and that was that. And then we got Scott back. But
that's hilarious.
But Overkill, that song that was the first before like Love Skolnick, but Bobby Gustafson's tone.
Yeah.
On that album especially, on Under the Influence was the heaviest thing to me.
They're coming back like real soon, aren't they? It's like the fucking 11th. No, wait, 18th maybe.
Yeah,
I gotta look.
And it's just
it's
just Bobby and Dee Dee, the original guys. But that band is still solid, man.
Yeah.
Those guys they just keep doing it.
Yeah, I know the last two albums are really good. So we'll see what happens. Well, all right, folks, let's listen to some tunes. Stick around. We will be back. Hey, Ritual Madness Podcast. Thanks for tuning in, folks. If you're just joining us, you're listening to Ritual Madness Podcast, episode 151, hanging out with guys from Black Flood Diesel. We just got done listening to some Take the Pain from Black Flood. We got some Peeping Tom, Mojo, some Metallica, and some Overkill. We're really showing our age with that the selections here. But the old stuff, I mean, we talked about this off the air as well. There's so many people from the older days that don't that never got a chance to get the recognition they truly deserve. We also talked about the Medis off the air here. There was some talk in with this whole thing and the last podcast 150. If you haven't had a chance to go check that out, we did a recap with the guy who started it, Bill Gelberg, and a few of the bands that won, some presenters that were involved in the whole thing, and I hosted the show. There were a lot of flaws in the first year. We're trying to right the wrongs of the first year, but we're talking about. There's so many talented musicians in this music scene, and so many people hate that word scene now in the music community that we have here in the Twin Cities. There are so many bands that have gone unnoticed for so many years, and we also talked about the Minnesota Music Awards as well, and City Pages, and Star Tribune. I mean, Greg, you remember, back in the day where our shows would make it into the Star Tribune, where we would be in the A-list, where, what's going on this weekend in those Quest for Mayhems and the so many great shows that we had played. We're always in there. City Pages covered a lot of that stuff. They gave us love. 93X really helped us out back in the day. There was, Loud and Local, and then there was, their Metal Shop, and those guys were always praising the metal scene and the music and the talent around town. And now it's fallen so short. We barely have a platform for what we do nowadays. We have, miscellaneous podcasts here and there, but there's no real mainstream, media for us anymore. And it's really unfortunate because guys like us have been doing it for 20 plus years. The years we could go around this table could easily equal 100 years in the music business, playing and having various bands and putting, how many albums have you recorded, since you've been doing this, Greg?
Shit, I want to say
not just with Black Flood, but
just
all
in
your
general.
In general.
Easily north of 10.
Right.
Right.
So
and that's easily north of 10.
Right. And Don, how about you? I mean, you've had to have been in the studio a few times in your tenure.
Like I said, Cromlech, we always had, I think we had 4 or 5 demos, a couple. I think we had the Black Album, the one full length. Did obviously demos with Vent. That was in Phoenix, obviously at that time.
Right.
But like I said, just right now, looking forward to another one. Putting an EP together for the first time, because the big running joke is when I'm telling new fans, people I know, to get up to the show, and they're looking up, Black Flood videos and everything, and it's like this band is like, I'm not on that. I've not recorded with this band.
Right.
I've been in there, and I was out of the band when Winter and Greg and AJ and everybody did another EP, which was really good stuff on there.
Right.
And some of that we might be bringing back at some point too, because Chris he's got some really good songs on that too. But I probably, at least demos and stuff like that. I mean, I'm 6'7", I think, locally deep, so.
Right.
It's just, like I said, between us all, there's a century of music here.
Right. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Now, do you guys feel the struggle that is real being in a band that is established for so long? We fall into the situation where, we bring back some of this old stuff or the catalog that you have. And now when it comes time to write, I know that when I look back at the stuff I've done, I get a lot of inspiration from stuff that I've already accomplished, to where I'm like, damn, how did I come up with that? Where was my mind at that particular time? And we've been into some dark fucking corners of our minds. So to think back then and go, do I really want to, do I want to open that door to even tap? It's like the Heath Ledger Joker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where this dude had to go, staying up for days and go fucking bonkers to establish that character. And I think about that, do you guys worry about falling into the we got to play a show here, we got every few months, to where you're not having the time to write and to get things done?
It's interesting. I think Luke and I, we were talking about it earlier today, right? About the whole songwriting, and we've talked about it too, reinventing yourself, whatever you want to call it, about how, we wrote things in the past, under the influence for me of certain things, or going through,
Sure.
times that I don't ever want to duplicate again, or both, right? At the same time, and how it can become it's an addiction in itself. getting off on making something positive out of, or something that is well received by people out of such a pile of shit. Right. So yeah, there's a danger in that for sure. But the importance of getting older and reinventing, or taking a look at the cube from a different angle.
Sure.
The gleam off the cube and from a different angle, to where you can come up with something that you're proud of. Come up with something that is a good creation.
Sure.
But not having to, sift through the mound of shit and stick your head in it in some cases, and willingly not taking it out of it, like that's not healthy, right, for anybody. And so for me, I guess I'm kind of looking at it as, back then it was a challenge of like, oh, I'm going through this really shit time. This is supposed to be fun. Why am I succeeding at this? Whatever, keep doing it. But I don't really want to be doing it, but I'm getting off on it. Now it's like, okay, the challenge is, let's fucking create something that it might sound different. It might be different, but I know I can do it because I've created my whole life. Let's just look at it from a different angle, which then in turn will also breed, a new vibe, a fresh vibe. It could still be dark, because
new players and old players coming back with this reincarnation of Black Flood, which that gives you the ability to do that. Where you're tapping into the new and the old source of the mainstream of constructive working environment. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I always found it really difficult because of being induced in whatever you're involved in at that particular time, going through the bullshit, drinking a lot, partying a lot. When you have that hardship, it's like the old blues, man. The lady leaves, or like the country song, the outlaw country, where the good stories came from the hardships of what they were going through.
Right.
What I've always found really difficult as well is being induced into some of the shit situations where you're so clouded and you're so full of whatever chemical you're choosing at that time to be on the outside of it now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I've had a writer's block for a good few years. I mean, I've gone back and recycled, stuff that I created with bands way back in the day, and I'm rehashing them and rewriting them now. But I find it really difficult to find that mindset. Like, fuck, man, do I have to be that fucked up? Is that the addiction part of it?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Is that where you feel like, damn, am I going to be able to write something that cool if I'm not fucked up? You know what I mean?
Right. No, it's valid. It's extremely fucking valid. And, we've talked about that.
I think a lot of people struggle with that.
Yeah. No, for sure. It's a very real thing. I mean, I guess the piece the peace of mind that I've tried to come to with that whole thing is that coming out of an addiction, and that I've struggled with that whole deal for years, right?
Sure. We all have.
Yeah, one way or the other. And so coming out of it, going into trying to get clean, there's this thing of, oh yeah, I'm going to clean up my shit, and everything's going to look great, and I'm going to have this great outlook on things, and I'm not going to be this dark person anymore, right?
Yeah.
Well, the reality is that no, I'm still dark and fucked up in the head, that was there before the chemicals, and that's there.
The residuals stay with you.
Yeah, that may always have been there to a degree, and it just manifested itself,
magnified, yeah.
Yeah, at a higher potency with the chemicals. Right. I like dark shit.
Sure.
Okay. I
think we all do in this room.
Yeah, we like dark things, and so we can look at it, I guess, from a songwriting perspective in a healthier spot without the dope.
Right.
And be able to maybe, like we talked about earlier, tell stories about those times, maybe.
Right.
And get back down to the roots of it. It in the end, for me, it's all about the fucking power in the darkness.
Right.
And I think that I've come a piece of the fact that I know that I can do that without the dope. Although the dope was a good time doing it. It was. I mean, I wouldn't trade some of those memories for the world, because it was fun.
Right.
Then it wasn't.
Yeah. I mean,
it was all fun and games until it wasn't at all.
Right. I mean,
I never liked it, but I love the way it smelled.
Right. Yep, absolutely. I mean, we were talking about this outside as well. It's like we were all having fun with it. It was such a good time with the alcohol, and like, you're invincible. You know what I mean? And then the drugs come into it because it evens out your alcohol. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like 1 minute you're fucking, throwing it up and being crazy and destroying some shit, and then you're like, you find that one niche where you're like, all right, now I can drink all night long, stay awake and function.
And
Yeah, exactly. And then all of a sudden, there's no more alcohol, and you're still awake, and you're still trying to function, and you're like, what the fuck is going on here?
Right.
I need to drink to come back down. You know what I mean? It's the up, down, the up, the down.
Oh, yeah.
And you're just tearing yourself apart, man.
Yeah.
After I stopped partying is when I started to get gray hair. You know what I mean?
I agree with
it's
that,
like,
yeah.
holy fuck, man.
Yeah.
When I was partying, that shit was black as a motherfucker. As soon as I quit, it's like, man, all those years of window peeking, it fucking caught up to me. You know what I mean?
I tell my girl too. It's like until when I moved in with you, I had brown hair.
Right,
16 years later, I'm gray.
right.
And and that's of course is right back at me. It's like that as Dodd had quoted me before, every decision you make in your life leads you right up to the moment where you're at.
Right.
There were some good decisions made, there was a lot of bad ones. And that's what with this lineup right now with everybody is we all rib each other on those dark days. I think that's what helps us like stay focused and stay on task at hand is like I said, you visit it, you want to draw from it, but you're not opening that box again and getting that deep into it. But it was there.
You might stick your toe in it just to see if it's still warm or not. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm good.
Don, the question I have for you is this: is how did Patty feel about the fact that you told her that when you met her you had no gray hair? After 16 years of living with her, now you have gray hair.
When she listens,
How did she feel about that statement that you made?
She's sleeping tonight, and when she's going to be listening to this, and when she does, it's gonna be a night or two on the couch. And she I mean, it's love her to death. I've been with her 16 years, but it was we had a band meeting one night. We went up to BJ's, and that's where the greatest thoughts come from. Now when we go to BJ's, you want to see a dancer with fresh stitches in her head nursing, and a daughter on stage. And one of them at all times is eating a Haggis pizza or a fucking chuck wagon.
Right.
But
or the complimentary paper dish of cheesy puffs that they have in absence of your kettle cooker machine. Typically, they do rotate in animal crackers sometimes. In the rotation, so they mix it up.
That's just left over from the kids that came there with their mom. And shit.
Yeah, and so Greg looked at me that night and he's like, "So, what would it take to get Patty in here?" It's like, for starters,
no.
I mean, well, no. It's like absolutely every fucking planet and several solar systems have to line, and number two, the most important, the 7 swords of Megiddo would have to be summoned to get her in there. And so the fact that's that already, you can edit that out. But no, I'm in trouble. No, it's she knows, and she knows all. I mean, obviously, been upfront
It's all
about
love. It's all
it's
love.
been upfront about the past and all that, and that's what it is. And she knows what fuels me.
So you're joining the band again, huh? Well, is it going to be one of those where I got to worry about where you are after the show every time? When they think that strippers just pop out of the fucking ceiling when they're not with you, that kind of thing. I've had those girls that are like, "What are you doing? Who are you with? What's going on over there?" There's people laughing in the background. Yeah, we just told a joke. It was fun. We're just sitting here drinking beers, just us creating music. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, who are those bitches there? There's no bitches. You know how when Don gets really fucking laughing, he's you know what I mean? That kind of shit.
And that's I tell it too. It's like you have seen me with my shirt off, right? You have no worry about strippers coming after me. You have nothing to worry about.
Dude. Yeah.
I've seen me with my shirt off. It's every time I take my shirt off, there's like 3 hippies, wanting to spray me with water. Keep him wet, save him, save him, get him back in the water, get him back in the water.
Yep.
I got fucking PETA on my side,
Right. Yeah, that's awesome.
Like I said, where I used to like sniff my dinner, I like cooking it now.
Right.
And it's a much better place. Charles Johnson, a longtime Black Blood fan, saw us at the Viking, and he was on Facebook right away, and he just said, he's like, I don't know, I watched you guys for so many years. He's like, this lineup, this particular lineup right now, he's like, you guys got it, and it is. Everybody gets each other, and it is. Ever since we started this thing again, every fucking practice, everything's fun.
Right.
Everybody comes, somebody's got a bad day, everybody walks out in a good mood.
Right.
Even if we've done nothing. Played 3 songs and we chat for an hour.
Right.
And do that.
That needs to happen too, man.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And when you have a group of cats that have been through the ringer, so to speak, it is nice to be able to share those stories and share the trials and tribulations of the rock star lifestyle.
It's what you do at an AA meeting.
Yeah.
Except we're drinking beer there.
Yeah, right.
Right. We're at
casually drinking, not like fucking trying to down, fucking 2 cases of beer,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I said, the running joke is I always before rehearsal I always show up with a 6-pack High Life Tall Boys, and it's like, everybody's like, oh, can I get one of those? It's like, I don't want to drink all 6. I want to drink 3 and go home.
Right.
And that's what it is. It's just, it's constructive now. I
Right.
mean, you want to get that little buzz on and be fun and everything.
Right.
But it's not, it's not that way anymore. It
Right.
just isn't,
We're going to the bar afterwards, right? No, we're not. we got to get home. Remember work tomorrow? It's a school night.
Oh, yeah.
Got to get the kids on the bus.
Yeah, no shit.
Yep, it's amazing when you talk about the days when you're jamming 6-7 nights a week, and we get more done in, we're pretty much a Thursday night band. We get together Thursday nights, and we get more done. I think, kind of now, especially with gearing up, getting ready for a show again. Once we put this back together, where it's always, all right, we're gonna jam 5 nights a week, and then we get down there, and it's 2 times a month, and. The first time when we first got back in the room, and Eric hadn't played his drums in 3 years.
Right.
And it was funny because he's just like, I knew it was going to be rusty, but I didn't think it was going to be that rusty.
Right.
And
he must have been locking up just,
oh, yeah. Shit. And boom, boom, boom. It was like, and Max was gone. He was on the road,
right.
And he came back, and he had like 2 rehearsals before the Mill City Night show. The first one was decent, and then the second one, like 2 days before the show, was like, we're laughing because it's like, how can you get this ready like that in that amount of time? And it just.
Yeah.
Again, like Greg said, we're trained professionals.
Yeah, man, for sure. Absolutely. That's fucking the badass. I mean, what do you guys, as projected, do you with the Viking, bar going on too, and, gearing up to do these shows, are you guys trying to pull the scene back in? I mean, is it something that you guys even thought about?
It's interesting. I think it would be, it would be nice to do.
Sure.
The perspective kind of that I have at this point is it would be nice to do, but I'd want to do it on our own terms.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And there's a lot of different ways that cat can get skinned, right? As far as building something like that back up.
Sure.
And a lot of
one brick at a time, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, but spearheading it, when you have some cats that have been doing it a long time,
Right.
and it's a name, it's a trademark that people know.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? People know that they can go to a Black Flood show. They'll see a ton of people they haven't seen for a long time. That they've shared some good nights at the Quest, at multiple bars. I mean, River Falls. I mean,
Yep.
all the places that you've played. They know that they're going to see some old faces,
Right.
And that to me, I think is indicative to sparking
Yep.
the flame. You know what I'm saying? You get a new club. You got the Lees and the Viking and whatever comes out of Mill City, because I think there's they're going to do another club there.
Yep.
I mean, with all of these new clubs popping up, to have a band like a Black Flood Diesel, or there's a slew of bands out there that have old members from those bands back in the Quest for Mayhem days and all of that shit, man. Those sparks around the scene, I think, are going to help generate a bigger fire.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, it would be great to do because I think we all have real fond memories of how tight and cohesive and how much talent there was, and the people that would come out, man, back in the day. And so I think it's achievable to, at the very least, get a slice of that and get a real nice positive fucking vibe going.
Right.
Again, and I think a nice combo version of it would be, I mean, personally, I think that it really all starts with keeping the Lee's shit going.
Right.
And then getting a new club like the Viking off the ground.
Right.
And you parlay it in because, I mean, I know, it drew inspiration from you, but with the whole getting the Viking up and running, because now I'm feeling where you're coming from.
Right.
You can feed back into
Right.
other bands, giving them some type of positive thing,
Right.
right? that has nothing to do with me being on stage.
Well, I mean,
which is
here's
great,
a
great.
perfect example. You know, when we decided to do the thing at Lee's, we talked about it, and you were like, for sure, I'm on board. Let's fucking get it rolling. And it was awesome. For one, because we've been friends for so long, and to have you guys come back and to be able to play one of the Lee's shows that I'm doing is huge for me. But at the same token, you were like, you know, I've got a band that we practice right next to, the Vault. You know, and I'd never heard of them. Those guys came to a Lee's show, and we, you know, got to talking to them, and they were super appreciative of it and being a part of it, and they were really stoked to actually have you enjoying what they're doing and putting the word out there. And that again is something that, you know, we needed that when we were young. You know, we stumbled upon, you know, the Head Charges and the people that took a shine to us and whatever we were doing at the time. The Power Mads with the Cromlech and, you know, all the stuff that you've done, Winter, and all of the APOD stuff. It is, you know, what we needed and what we pass forward to all these younger bands who need one person to step up and go, hey, man, I really like what you're doing. You know, why don't you come on and come with us and take a ride with us, you know? And that it's like a van that you start filling up with, you know, handicapped kids, you know? Not to say, you know, anything bad about the younger bands. I'm just saying that they need to know where they can go. You know, they need to be able to look up to guys like you and I and you know, all of us in this room and say, you know, which direction do I need to go? You know, can you give me a couple pointers? Can you tell me a couple things? And I feel as an elder statesman, and Luke said this, he goes, man, you're so approachable now, you know, compared to back then. And that's what I thrive on nowadays, man, is that, you know, having this podcast for 4 years, man, you did the second fucking show on this motherfucker out of fuck yeah, dude, I will totally be a part of this, you know? And 4 years in, all I can say is every time that I have a band that just came on my radar, I'm giving them an opportunity to reach that many other people who may just want to listen to some old fucker talk about the old days and all these crazy fights and, you know, drinking and partying and being a knucklehead, you know, and them being able to experience it and maybe rubbing off on them with just a little bit or rubbing one off on them just a little bit, you know, but there have been some guys that have come in this room and sat down and had a great solid interview, and I've gone out to one of their shows and they're introducing me to their parents and people like, this is a guy who's been here for so long, you know, it speaks volumes of the work that guys like you and I can accomplish when we put our mind to the greater cause instead of just our bands. Because yes, we want to succeed with our bands and push our bands as much as possible, but giving the inspiration that you give to other people to say, hey man, yeah, I started doing this. Yeah, I did this vocally. This is where I hone my skills. Playing these songs, you know, not just your songs, but the ones that you guys picked. I have people contact me all the time after these shows and say, damn, I forgot about that band. Damn, I've never heard about that band. You know, that's really cool that you're having these, you know, bands come on, and the shit that they're picking, you know, to play on the playlist is shit that they've never experienced or they completely forgot about.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I really love to facilitate that for other people, man, you know, and everybody in this room has so much knowledge to pass forward to these young cats, you know? And, I mean, dude, you're on to something good, man. And it you know, if you took inspiration from me, I take that as a huge honor because all I'm trying to do is just be me. And this scene has given me so much from, you know, back in the 89, 90 days to, you know, 2017 for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
You know, and did I ever think that I would be sitting in front of a microphone with a group of friends and guys that I've jammed with, you know, just to sit here and spit knowledge to whoever's going to listen to us. You know what I'm saying?
Man, it's awesome.
And I mean, 3 hours worth of you know, us bantering back and forth. There are so many nuggets for people to take away from it, man. You know, how many ups and downs, how much, you know, have you been paid this much, and you know, you've grown as a band, and to be able to establish yourself to get enough, you know, revenue generated, funds generated to get your t-shirts together and your CDs rolling and your, you know, your studio rent paid for. And that's what motherfuckers want to do. They're not sure. I mean, we're in it. We're lifers here. You know what I'm saying? Each one of us are lifers for what we do, you know, and to pass that lifestyle that we've chosen, you know, and granted, with all the bad decisions that have brought us to this to this moment right now, there are so many good decisions that we should pass on to these young folks, man.
There was a lot of risks that were taken that came to fruition.
Yeah.
There was a lot of risks that were taken that knocked you on your ass.
Right.
And that's what defines you.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
So it makes it what and that's like if you haven't lived it. If you didn't make any of these choices, you'd be in your happy little place. But a lot of people live a life of regret, going, if I only did this, how many people, again,
I think each one of us in this room at one time after stopping jamming with some of the most talented guys you've ever created with, you step away from that experience, and you're like, should I keep going with this? And then you have. One guy go, dude, you'd be a fucking idiot not to, what are you doing? You got to get this going and you got to keep this going. And you'd be a fool not to, you're inspiring people, you know what I mean? And that drives us. I mean, Luke said it the best outside. We all survived it.
Yep.
If we look around this table and think about all the times that we've partied together and we're still here after all this time, man, that's fucking insane.
Oh, I mean, the Reaper's driving by. The Reaper's driving by right now. I got you guys. I got you guys.
Yep, keep talking, bitch.
Yeah, I got you.
Yep.
I'll see you.
I hear you. I hear your murmurs in there, motherfucker. Yep.
We made the party in Hall of Fame.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Yeah. Yeah, we made it past 27, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no shit. Man.
That was a big
I'd be
deal.
By 24.
Oh, yeah. Right. 26 and you're ticking. You're like,
ooh, man. Yeah. One more fucking 3-day stretch and I might be hitting that 27 mark, man. Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, man. There in that regret that has beaten us back into being in bands again. You know what I mean? Like I never wanted to walk away from this and going, fuck, I could have done this, I could have done that. I'm glad that I never got signed when everybody, when the big, hubbub with all of our bands. I mean, all of our bands were at that point. We were all being shopped at one time and had many people checking us out at one time or another. Mm-hmm. And it's like, fuck, man, if I would have got signed, I'd have been just another casualty, dude. Just another statistic.
It's a buddy of mine at work who is kind of a born-again guy, and it's pretty prolific, but he just said sometimes God's greatest work is unanswered prayers.
Right.
And God's like, I'm not going to give you that.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm not going on that tip, but I'm just saying, it's like, it's like.
No, it makes sense, man.
If Cromlech got a deal, we'd be on fucking behind the music.
Right. Knowledge is knowledge, dude. I mean, really, if you think about it, what's sad is I would really, it would be such an undertaking, but to take that time frame from 90 to 2008-9, you know what I mean, where the scene just fluctuated so much, and all of us, if you looked at a big timeline, like a couple of us would be here, and then Greg would come to town, and Winter would be in another band, and you and I would be mainstay, Luke would be, that timeline would be like bloop 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 bloop, people popping up everywhere, and it would be such a crazy story because that time frame in the Twin Cities was epic, man. It was fucking amazing. Friday nights, you knew everybody was going to be at the Quest for Mayhem. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And how Jack Gilbert, of all people, kept that shit together, dude. I do not know, man. Because it was, I mean, he gave me the reins one night, and it was like I just stood back and was like, how in the fuck did he keep this going every single week, man?
Yep. I got to hand it to the guy on that one, man. I mean, it was madness. It was madness.
Even if you asked him, you wouldn't understand what he was saying.
Right.
To where, I mean, unless you spoke Jackisms, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Man, let me tell you, and shit, I mean, just the way he he puts things out there. It's like I've had people say that. How the fuck do you even talk to that dude? It's like, because you got to know what he's saying, you know? Yeah. I worked with him for like a few years, and it was just like, what did he say? Oh, he said it was cool, man. What
was one of them? Like something bad happens. A party frown.
Yep, party frown.
Party frown.
Party frown. Party wig.
Yep, party wig.
What is it? And shit or the block. What was the fucking?
Oof, bad visual.
Yep, bad visual. Yep. He'd always block like you couldn't see it from here down. He'd just block it. That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. And you lived with that crazy motherfucker for a while.
I did. Yeah, we lived together.
Dude, that house was amazing though.
It was awesome. It was awesome. It was a great spot, and then it just it got a little dirty in there.
Yeah.
But
I think he'd be honored to know you're talking about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Jack, if you're out there, I miss you, buddy. I do.
Dude, we had some good times at that house, dude.
Yeah.
Foosball and fucking.
He hasn't changed a bit.
Yeah. He's changed a lot. He's changed a lot compared to what kind of craziness we were all into. You know what I mean? He's changed a lot, but yeah, man, fucking A, those were some days. We could go on and on and on.
We could do 3 more podcasts.
Yes, we definitely could. Well, let's listen to some more tunes. We got Open Wide with featuring Waylon from Mushroom Head, dude. I did not know that he did.
Yeah, he when he was still in Mushroom Head, he's got a new project right now with one of the dudes from Korn.
Right.
Yeah, Head, Killer's Confession.
Yeah, and actually we just talked to Waylon about it the other day or whatever on Facebook or whatever. I talked to him in private message, but we recorded Chaos Saves out in Cleveland,
right?
With Mushroom Head guys, right?
Nice.
Skinny, their drummer, is like their fucking whatever mad scientist mastermind, right?
Right.
And Waylon had just been like indoctrinated in that band.
Right.
He was in there for like about a year and a half when we met him.
Kind of a crazy departure from that band too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a little bit contentious. Yeah. But so yeah, and that wasn't the best scene. You know? So, and I'm super tight with those guys, right? And I'm on good terms on both sides of the fence. I know it was a pretty bad fucking breakup,
right?
And
there's a lot of mudslinging on either side, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, it was bad.
Yeah,
it was bad. But he seems to be in a better spot now, creatively or whatever. I could only put myself in his shoes. They got the guy who replaced J-Man, the original guy,
right?
He left, so they got Waylon to replace him. Well, then all of a sudden, J-Man's back in. They got 3 singers on stage.
Right.
Well, I tell you what, if I was Waylon, I probably wouldn't be really that happy about that arrangement then.
Right.
Because first of all, you have 3 fucking singers on stage.
Right.
Okay. That's a lot of singers.
That's a lot of ego too.
Yeah. Let alone the guy that
and a lot of mouths to feed.
Right.
Yeah. So
that's Parliament. Fucking 13 motherfuckers in the band and shit.
When we went down there to record though, Skinny's like, no, I want my new guy on this track or whatever. And the new guy was Waylon at the time.
Right.
He's like, no, it'll be perfect. You'll get the Mushroom Head name, on your brand,
right.
And I'll get my guy some exposure to work with fucking some new guys, because I vibe real well with the guys in Cleveland, right? With the Shroom guys.
Right.
He's like, no, it'll be great. We'll get him involved with your musicians, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
So we, chopped it up, whatever. Just he did the response parts of the verse and then doubles up in the heavy shit in the chorus. And yeah, he's been with us ever since.
I was honored enough to play this a couple times. I think we did this song a few
times. Yeah. Came up. Yeah, for sure. You came up.
Absolutely.
It's always fun. It's a good one to get a guest spot up.
Yeah.
Because you can lay down the fucking heat,
yep.
the lumber on the chorus, and
the lumber.
Lay down the lumber.
And then we got some. I believe it's Pantera. It's all question marks on here. This is a really particular fucking program. Sometimes when you import. The way it's laid out, with the letters. Sometimes it'll just go, "What is that?" And it'll fucking give you some weird shit. So we think this is Pantera. The next one after that, what was the Pantera tune that you selected?
Primal Concrete Sledge.
Sledge. Yep.
That's some old school shit right
Fuck
there.
yeah.
That's
awesome. Star State.
Yep. Oh yeah. And then we've got some Blood Simple. Tell me about that.
Blood Simple, the band I dig. They're one of the dudes from Vision of Disorder,
right? Old
band Vision of Disorder.
Okay.
This Blood Simple was a project that after VOD they got into, and it was the first band picked up by Chad Gray from Mudvayne.
Oh, nice.
When he had started up a label,
right?
Super fucking
guitar
cool,
player, right?
Their singer.
Oh, so,
yeah,
okay,
Chad Gray, their singer.
Okay.
So this is off their second album. Their first album, though, it's called A Cruel World.
Yeah.
Is one of my fucking probably top 5 metal albums.
Nice.
Of all time. I just happen to love this fucking tune, but the Blood Simple, A Cruel World is fucking
right.
Yeah,
awesome,
shelf.
Awesome.
Yep.
Then we got some Deftones after that. Nothing wrong with the little Deftones action.
That it's this is dating back when you and I were kids, and we
were still men at that time.
Well, we were men. I mean, it's one of those. It's not really. I mean, it's an influence, but we're kind of already doing it.
We
kind of came to fruition. But it was just that. I just still to this day, I mean, Deftones has amazing music, but Around the Fur, when that came, especially after Adrenaline, which is a great album.
Those two right back to back.
Yeah, but Around the Fur, I mean, just that opening drum riff when it's like it's just sick. I'm a groove junkie. I've always been. That's why getting with Greg and the boys, it was a perfect fit because that's we're just bumping. You know, we're just bumping. I mean, we're gonna get a little thrashier, but it's always about pulse.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm sorry.
Good groove.
Chicks can dance to it.
Yep.
And for every girl that goes to your show, 3 guys will.
You're right.
You know, and if you get hot ones to go, it's even better.
Yeah, there's at least 5 to 7 dudes.
That's why Greg's good, because even Patty tells me she tells everybody about Greg. He's really good looking. You know, and I have to sit there and go, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Have you seen me naked?
Yeah. You want me to take my shirt off again and show you this? You know?
That's awesome. PETA can get out of here. They got a fucking rope around your ankle and shit.
Again, with my shirt out, if I do the walk, I'm like the Sasquatch, the 65, fucking Northern California. Oh yeah. And they'll look and go, yeah, you can tell it's a female. Look at the teats. You can tell it's a female.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, folks, stick around. We're gonna listen to some tunes. We'll be back. Woo. I fucking love that band. You're listening to Ritual Madness Podcast. We are at the tail end. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this podcast, and there's so many more. If you go to ritualmadnesspodcast.com, there is an episode tab. You can click one of those links. There's so many out there to listen to. 3 hours of pure enjoyment of listening to me fucking cackle like a fucking schoolgirl in the back. Tell stupid jokes and dick jokes and fart jokes and drug stories about shit that I did when I was still fucked up.
Yesterday.
Yesterday. Yeah, I was so high yesterday. I forgot to wipe my ass. It itches right now. But anyway, do me a favor. Check out ritualmadnesspodcast.com. On the right side, you can connect with us on iTunes, Stitcher, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Download the Listen to My Radio app, LISTEN, the number 2, My Radio. In the search bar, push Ritual Madness Podcast, and you'll be able to connect with our station 24/7, 365. And you will hear great bands like Black Flood Diesel on here and all the stuff that you have heard so far. Some Ministry and Strapping Young Lad and Peeping Tom, Metallica, Overkill, Pantera, Blood Simple, all of that good stuff. I play it in rotation all the fucking time. As a matter of fact, I play you guys all the time on this station. I'll come in here and I'll, open the local page and I'll just scroll down and grab. And you guys are always in that mix all the time. I like to open it, before, if somebody tunes in before the guests come in, they always hear local shit. I'll play a ton of it. When I first started, it was like, I would pick most of the songs. So it was like, I'd have, 7 or 8 tunes and it'd all be my shit. And I'd play 1 or 2 of the band that's coming in. And I just felt like, fuck, man, I'm not giving them a chance to, put the stuff they listen to in on the whole mix. And, that's what it's all about, man. Exposing people to good music, new music. And hopefully we can do that here on the podcast. I appreciate it. Do me a favor. Friday, February 24th, Black Flood Diesel with MC Rents, Hex Vortices, TikTok, and The Vault at Lee's Liquor Lounge. That's 21 plus, $7 cover at the door, 8:30 doors, or 8 p.m. doors, 9 p.m. show start, $2 Jack and Cokes. You cannot beat a Lemmy for $2. They're strong there too, man. They get giant jugs of Jack Daniels flowing. $3 Tallboy PBRs. That's at Lee's Liquor Lounge, 101 North Glenwood, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Come check us out, man. It's going to be a blast. A night of metal and hip hop. And if you guys haven't had a chance to check out MC Rents or TikTok, these two cats really, really throw down. MC Rents is gearing up right now for some tour action. He's got his Blue Bottle project up and running. He's about to drop another CD on that. This guy's been around for a long time, and he's a very, very talented dude. Pete Rents is fucking amazing. He's got his Bloody Boombox stuff. If you haven't had a chance, go to Facebook and look those guys up. And, of course, Black Flood Diesel is back in the house. Getting ready to gear up and run some shit up in here again. Step back to the top spots where they've been for so long. Super excited. Hex Vortices is some of the guys from Impaler. I mean, fucking Cold Colors. I mean, it's a hodgepodge of talented cats. And the Vault, they're new guys on the scene. Where did you hear about the Vault?
You know what? It's funny, man. I was with Limo, there in Lematown, and he and I went when I was still living over with him and Katie Bowles over on Polk Street.
Right.
Northeast were like, you know what, fuck it. He and I had nothing to do one weekend. We're like, fuck it, let's just go down to Club Underground and check out bands that we have no idea were there.
Sure.
Right? There's some fucking rock metal going on down there. Let's just go check it out and fucking see if we can find something that we dig. And they were one of the bands. They're kids. They're younger kids.
Yeah, they're in their early 20s, right?
Early 20s, yeah. And
they look like fucking babies when I see them at fucking Lee's. No offense, guys. I just I'm an old fucker, so when I see young cats, I call it.
Yep. No, for sure. So we we watched them, and I remember being like, this is fucking cool, man. Like, these, just sitting back there watching, we're having cocktails and just whatever, as audience. Nobody, there was 30, 40 people there. Nobody knew who we were by face, right?
Sure.
So just sitting in the back of the bar checking out fucking bands, and I'm like, I dig this. I can dig on it. It's like fucking Sabbath cross with like fucking Mastodon, with a little bit of the singer's got a little bit of Chris Cornell in them, type of thing, like that stoner fucking metal with a little bit of fucking like high end Chris Cornell vocals, kind of.
Right.
And I'm like, this is something that could be worked with, And so that's I after about 10 cocktails. I'm like, I'm just whatever gonna go grab this. He had no idea who I was. I just grabbed him as he's loading up his bass rig. I'm like, dude, you guys are fucking good, man. He's like, thanks. I'm like, yeah, I fucking am the singer for Black Blood Diesel. He's like, no shit. He's like, yeah.
Eyes open up.
Yeah, he's like, no fucking shit. I'm like, yeah, dude, I'd love to fucking play a show with you. He's like, you're fucking kidding me. I'm like, no, I'd love to play a show with you guys sometime, man.
Dude, they're super stoked about it.
Yeah.
Super stoked.
So that was awesome. It took a minute to line it up, but I stayed in contact with him, and he was like, I think it was one of those things that he did just maybe thought that I was drunk talking, then I kind of just stayed with it, and then lined him up with you, and he's super pumped, super pumped now that it's actually like in stone and fucking going down.
Yeah, when they came down, man, they were really, really stoked and excited to, they came to check out the room, and they stayed the whole night and just, got hammered and had a good time. And I want to go around the table now. Being in it for as long as you guys have been in it, doing something like that where you show up at a show and unannounced, you go there and you're just enjoying it. How is it to actually look at some of these bands before it'd be us playing and you maybe stumble on a different band that is out, further or early in the bill or later on down the bill and you see them. But nowadays, man, we can go somewhere and be a full on onlooker. How do you guys feel about that?
It's a trip. I mean, I dig it, because with this type of instance, like just making those guys happy, and they're stoked, and that's, I really, really dig that, and I think there's a lot that can be said about finding new people and it's integrating yourself with like the younger cats, and all the stories that we sit here and talk about tonight, all that's the bullshit and everything. I mean, they'll listen to it, and it's not like, like I'm looking for a soapbox to get on. Sure. No, not at all. When I was 22 years old, I would tell you what, I would love to have the roles have been reversed, and have to not feel like I was playing, like
going blind, dude.
Yeah, and have somebody older be like, maybe you can get some shortcuts in the game.
Dude, I yearned for that shit as a kid, man. And maybe it was, not having a father figure as a kid, but I was always looking for them older cats to like just drop knowledge on me 1 second. And all the bands that we've opened for, I've sat with those, national acts and going, dude, what do you do?
Right.
What is it that, what inspires you? Like, how do you write? Like, what do you read? What do you, what inspires you to write the way you write, and some people would give you, little snippets here or, vocal things that help them get strength in their voice and things like that. I fucking yearned for that shit as a young cat,
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. How about you, Don? What as far as
go to see, kind of the same, kind of different. Number one, I wanted to do a shout out. The last show at Viking, Witchton. Yeah, that was right before. So those guys were fucking amazing.
Yeah, they're awesome.
But Kelvin's, Breed. I just told both drummers it was so refreshing to see drummers hitting their fucking cans again.
Right.
There's a lot of talented drummers, and I'm not slamming anybody, but triggers come into play now, and drummers are really good, and it's and they're technical, but when they're just just pitter patter, and then when the triggers are on, and I get it, it's for production quality, but both those drummers were just slamming the cans, and that's what I respect, Bonham style shit.
Right.
But the other one, which now I'm really curious to see what's going to happen, is Emergent. Now they got a new singer.
Right.
Because
they have the same singer.
It's the same singer. He's back.
Yeah, he's back. Yep.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought they got a new. Oh,
Nope.
that's
Aaron.
awesome.
Yep.
That's even more awesome.
I'm
So
super
sorry, boys.
I'm super
they don't know
excited.
who I am.
I'm super excited to see those guys.
Yeah, because I just saw the home thing. I saw you on Facebook. It's like they're back, and so that's awesome. So I'm glad he.
Dude, I didn't even. Okay, I've been at shows where they played, and I'm just like, I don't know who they are. You know, I know a couple of the people in the band, and I'm like, I don't really know who they are. And I was like, you know, I see maybe one song. I'm like, whatever. And my buddy gave me their CD, and he's like, here, just fucking take it. So I put it in my car. I'm driving around, and every day I'd start it up. One song would go, and I just kind of daze off, and then all of a sudden I'd go, hey, this shit's pretty good, you know?
Yeah.
And then after a while, I'm like, holy shit, this shit is really fucking good.
Yeah.
And it just kicked my ass how great the fucking production, the song quality, the writing, the lyrics, everything was solid, man. And I've yet to even meet that singer, but he is a phenomenal singer, man. Really tight, good vocals, solid range, man. He's really good.
And that's why, when you start doing research and knowing that these guys, did this huge Battle of the Bands thing. And one, it's like I just all of a sudden they just came for me because I've kind of been out of the scene, but these guys are just out of nowhere to me.
Yeah, me
and
too.
all of a sudden they're just here. They are, and they've just got this. It's the next phase. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they're gonna do.
Yeah. I'm excited. I believe I don't know a positive date, but I believe they're going to be popping out a new show here, or upcoming show before. I know they're doing Rockfest, for sure. But I think they have a couple of shows before that Rockfest deal. I'm excited to see when they're going to drop that first single they did, that home song.
Yep,
really good. I liked it.
Well, and that's what. So again, sorry boys, but I know they had their whole big, the internet looking for the singer.
Yeah.
And when they had this new single, I was like, well, that sounds like old dude,
right?
And so guess what?
He came back, and I didn't think he was gonna either, man. I don't even think they thought he was gonna come back, and. Yeah, they're fucking great. As soon as they got back together, I was like, so when do you need a roadie? They're like, are you serious? I'm like, absolutely, I'm fucking serious, man. I just want to go to the show and watch this shit because I never had a chance, and I listen to the CD all the time. My 9-year-old sings their whole first CD, front to back. She can wail that shit. That new single, she was all about it. She knows every single fucking word. She got in the car and she goes, Dad, I know more lyrics than you do on this song. And I was like, damn, girl. She was hitting it.
Well, you're grounded.
Yep. Yep. How about you, Chris? What you tell me about walking in on some good stuff?
Well, it's as you get older, it's kind of harder to get out to as many shows and stuff like that, especially with all the adulting and whatnot. But when you get a chance to go out and see like a young band and they're just like in their 20s and they're just starting out, and you watch their show and you watch that hunger, and that fire that they've got, and because you've been there before, you've been there at that age, and just to kind of it's like looking at like in a little time capsule of yourself, kind of from the outside, because you've done all those things that these guys are going to do, so it's kind of you kind of get excited for them,
Yeah, man. That fucking deer in the headlights look, you know what I mean? Where they're not even positive what they've achieved yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there are people going, yeah, that's pretty fucking good, dude. Beastface is a band that hasn't been around very long. If you guys haven't had a chance to check them guys out, Beastface is a really, really good band. There's another good band that's been doing really well that it's as far as peers, people hearing their CD and then seeing them live. And I just had them do a show at Lee's, Hate Beast and Beastface. Those two bands are phenomenal. If you get a chance to check them out.
You know who I got booked at the Viking playing with Impaler up there is Calvin, actually, from Breed.
Yeah.
Turned me on to him. And I still haven't listened to him, but he's like, dude, they're the best band in the city's hands down. The Wolf Council.
Oh, they're killer.
Yeah,
they're killer.
So I got them playing
well,
with
Impaler. That's Steve Post from Realm. Remember Realm back in the day? And Steve Post plays with Dumpster Juice as well. Okay. So he's the bass player. I know he plays in Wolf Council.
Okay, yep,
and
Wolf Council.
Steve plays, there's two Steves in the band. There's a three-piece and half of them are Steves.
Okay.
But I think he has another band too. I cannot remember.
They're super cool though, Wolf Council?
Yeah, they're really good.
Nice.
They fucking gave me an album. They came here to do a fucking interview and they gave me a fucking LP. So I was like, yes, those guys are very cool. Yeah. They're musically solid as fuck. They're really good.
Very cool.
Very good. They got a nice following too.
Nice.
Yep. How about you, Luke? Have you heard any new stuff lately?
Honestly, man, it takes me a lot to go out and go to a show these days. I mean, if I go to a show, I want to be fucking good, man.
Right,
you know what I mean? So I mean, it's just refreshing to be here in the studio talking to you fools. Actually, I mean, I'm just talking about the drums and if he's hitting the fucking cans and the production, because it brings a tear to my eye almost. It's just like, fuck, these are the people I wanted to meet when I moved here. You know, moved here in '97. I was a little 19 years old, you know what I mean, 20 years ago, and I just longed. I mean, I just walk in the parties, walk in the show, just looking for people. I have to open my mouth, you know. So, man, I can't say who's on the. I'm really excited just to be here in Black Flood and meeting, going out with Greg here today and bringing me along here. I'm just really excited to see some of the bands getting up there and playing again. I know I fucking am. I can't wait, man. I'm just overdue. So it's like, just feel that young juice.
Recharge,
flowing.
man.
Yeah, no,
I want to see the Jester again. So
I'm
the
excited.
Jealous Jester.
I was talking to Greg tonight. I'm like, is it just us? Like, do we just not go out anymore? So is it like, but are there these great bands? He's like, nah, everything's shit. It wouldn't say that. There's just not as much. It's not as like when there was that time you're talking about. I don't know. Between 2000 and like 2008, it was condensed, and you're meeting everyone. It was thick, and you're inspired, and you weren't even trying, man. You weren't even trying. You just, hey, you want to play next week, or this, everything from the House of Nuts to like, fucking the show. There was just happening. I know with me, man, it was just all fucking rolling out. And I wish I could have really not taken it as seriously, like you said, and just enjoyed the ride a little bit more.
Fuck, man, we all could have done for a dose of that shit, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think we would have all succeeded so much more if we weren't trying to be the best, biggest thing on the block, and just let it happen organically. You know what I mean? Because it was just a snowball. If it was like you see in the cartoons, that one, the dude slips on his fucking skis and he hits he's a small snowball on the top of the hill, and then by the it's a fucking giant boulder like fucking Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom. You're running. You can't even get out of the whoa. You become part of the snowball, And I think the Minneapolis music scene was that giant snowball. There were so many bands here that should have, by all means, Black Flood Diesel should have been on tour for long stints and should have been signed. Sublevel from back in the day. There's so many bands that Skywind and there's so many. Align,
Wedge.
There's so many bands,
the old 2-ton crutch.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. On a positive note, though, I'm kind of glad that I've beaten my own prejudice in that. You're like, oh, I'm going to be dead at 24. I'm doing my sickest shit. Right. No, the shit I'm hearing now is sicker, harder, heavier, and
more thought out.
And better.
Right.
So we'll see. I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely, man. What do we got for shows coming up? You got some shows coming up? Anything at the Viking too?
We got the one that we're doing with you on the 24th. Yep. And then other than that, I don't think we have anything at the Diesel in the books. We got Luke and Jealous Jester at the Viking on March 13th.
11th.
The 11th, March 11th. March 11th with MC Rents is doing that. And then I gotta find an opener for that one. I need a rock opener.
Nice.
So if you know of any bands, looking for something to do.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully somebody will take a listen and hit you up.
Yeah, totally.
How can they get a hold of you if they want to book at the Viking?
You just find me up on Facebook on my personal page. Facebook.
Mr. Moog Esquire.
Greg Moog, the first.
Yeah. The first, bitches.
Yep. You can hit me up there. That's probably the easiest way to do it. I mean,
Yep.
I screen through all the people that I don't know, the messages, whatever.
Yeah.
And if you
still get a lot of that stuff, I hardly ever do, dude. It's like I'm like, I don't know you.
Because Facebook keeps banning you.
Yeah, dude.
What happened with that? What did happen with that?
A couple of dick pics and then you're gone, right?
Was it a you and Shane?
It wasn't me and Shane.
It was you and Shane thread?
Yeah.
So somebody took offense to that.
No, see what happens now is that I changed because I do so much promotion for everybody.
Right.
I want everybody to see it,
Right.
But I forget that a lot of people that don't know me don't understand my fucking twisted humor.
Right.
Because I'm not a homophobe. I'm not anti-gay. I'm not anti-anything.
Right.
I'm not a racist. I'm not anything. I fucking hate everybody, and I think everybody's a bunch of fucking cunts anyways.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm going to make fun of myself, first of all. If someone goes, oh, you fat fucking Pantera wannabe, it's like, first of all, you're putting my name in the same line as Pantera. For two,
Thank you.
I don't give a fuck what you call. I am a fat fucker. I don't care, but I've earned every single pound of this shit, so go fuck yourself. And you know what I mean? If I can call myself a fat fucker, you sure ain't hurting my fucking feelings by saying some shit.
Sure.
So, Shane and I have had this thing since we lived together.
Right.
That, he'll come up and he'll fucking tit flip me. He'll call me bitch tits, or he'll grab a fucking chunk of fat and go, "What's up, big man?" Or smack me on the ass and go, "Look at that disco booty," shit like that.
Right.
So it spawned from us teasing each other into a public display of
public
retardation.
loathing. Yeah.
Yes. So if he finds something that's that's okay, so. Being around a lot of metalheads, you have a lot of testosterone, a lot of machismo, a lot of this and that. So the first thing that a dude will say is something about sucking a dick or doing something silly. You know what I mean? So that's where it spawns from.
Right.
So he'll find a fat fucking Mexican dude, just jiggling and doing some crazy shit, and he'll post it on my wall. Well, this goes back and forth. So if I see him going through some hard shit, instantly I will fucking find some sort of meme or some sort of thing where I can poke fun at him.
Right.
And he does it back to me.
Right.
And sometimes it gets downright fucking just blistering hard with each other, But there are days when he'll get me really good and I'll be like, "You motherfucker," and I will go and I will just collect for days and then I'll just bombard him and people will laugh.
Right.
Well, I found a bag that says Dick's Grocery on it, and it's a brown paper bag with fucking literal 10-inch cocks, but it's a whole bag of dicks, right? So it was either in some sort of thing. So anyway, what my original thing was is I opened my Facebook up to be public.
Yeah.
So now if somebody likes it or someone responds on it, now their friends are seeing it and everybody else is seeing it. So it's not just my friends seeing it anymore. Now it's people, and now Facebook is really patrolling. And this is how I know, is because this was months ago that I posted that fucking bag of dicks, right?
Okay.
And I'm posting, I do my normal post and I hit all the flyers and shit. And all of a sudden I log back in. I go, because it's always logged in on your phone. I go and I click it and it boots me out. And I'm like, what the fuck, So I log back in and then I just see this picture of a bag of dicks. And then it says Facebook, violation, da-da-da-da-da. And then
that's all you see is the picture of the bag of dicks. You're trying to get back in.
But it happened so fast though, because it was like bag of dicks, and then I didn't read it.
You are not aware of our anti-dick law, let alone bag of dick law.
It all happened so fast.
Right. It really did because I didn't read what it said. So what it does, back in the day, what it would do is it would give you a violation, and then it would give you like amount of time to delete those photos.
Okay.
Like they would go, okay, we found violations in this album. So then you would have to go through the album and go, fuck, I could get in trouble for this,
right.
a chick bending over, whatever that somebody could, bitch about. But it was all private at one time. So only my friends could see that shit. So now I see the bag of dicks and I'm like, what the fuck? So 24 hours I get suspended, but I do so much promotion. I got the show, I got my patches, I got, all the shit connected to one account.
Yeah.
So I'm like, motherfuck, man. And I didn't know it was 24 hours. I thought it was longer. I'm like, fuck, man, I got kicked out for a bag of dicks, man. So I posted, all the shit, and I'm going. So the first thing a bunch of people said was, "Who did you put a dick on?" And my wife goes, "Who did you say you were, they were sucking dicks or whatever?" She knew, and like all these people are like, "What'd you say? Who did you piss off?" Like all this shit. So I was like, okay, whatever. So I get done doing the show. I'm sitting here, and he puts one on my fucking page, and I'm like, that motherfucker, dude, because he knows when I'm doing something. If I'm at work, he knows that I'm not going to see it for a couple hours, so he'll just bombard me real quick, and then he'll dip off, and it won't be around. And then all my friends and all his friends, and all of our friends will comment on it like, ah ha ha, and everybody's laughing at it, like, you go, motherfucker. So I went back and I took a picture of him, and it's him going like this, right? So I cut his head out, right? And I just fucking Googled dickhead. So it's a dude going like this, and it is an uncircumcised dick from his forehead up. It's uncircumcised, so it's like the turtleneck and then the pee hole, right? So I cut that dude's head off, and then I put Shane's head, and I put that on like a cap. So then I made this thing, and first, so he's got this, you know, he says the shit about Muslims, and you know, he's very political, and he talks a lot of shit about that. So I found a bunch of fucking Muslims all with the, you know, the ninja masks on and shit, and it's just him going like this, and it's got these Muslims, and they're all, you know, it's all women with their little garb on, and they all got one finger on up for solidarity, so they're pointing up at him. So I put him up on the top, and then I just said Shane fucks ninjas, you know. So that was the first thing, right? So then I'm going, oh, I'm gonna get him good. So then I do the dickhead thing. And this is 3 a.m, okay? So I post it literally within 10 minutes. That motherfucking Facebook police were on me because dude, it's 3 a.m. Nobody was liking this shit. I'm fucking doing it to see if anybody likes it or laughs or something, because I'm getting a kick out of it. I'm going, yeah, I just posted a big dickhead on his fucking, you know, I'm like, yeah, this is the shit. And then next thing I know, here comes the dickhead violation. I'm gone for 3 days this time. So I'm like, you know what, man? I got too much to lose for a silly joke, so I got to send them all my silly shit now, like privately. I can't.
Yeah, right.
I can't. I mean, they're really on me this time, and I don't know if it's
because you got the first one from the bag of dicks that now you're on the radar. You think?
Yes.
Now you're on the grid.
Now here's the thing: is that it's me, my buddy Rick, Shane, and then Garf.
Okay.
Us 4 have been like targeted. It's so it seems like, because I'll go on. Rick will say something, you know, like I've been single for this long. I have no thoughts of getting married and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's not what you said the other night when this dude was fisting your ass.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I would just bombard. I'm notorious for going and bombarding people's shit with stupid shit, you know, all the time. You know, just the dirtiest images that you know, I mean, you know, Spider-Man, slinging jizz on people, and you know what I mean? Stupid shit. So I'm just known for it. So, and Garf is the same way. And, you know, it's like, we've all been targeted for it. So now I've got too much to lose and I can't do it. But everybody knows that I'm good for a good dick joke. And
well, and it's because of Dickhead Lives Matter.
Yes, that's right. Yes, absolutely. But I found so I did another one before I did that. So I started an alternate account and I made that my profile. I found a bunch of lady boys, like dudes, and they're all greased up and they're all standing there, you know, they're all Asian dudes, but they're as gay comes, man. And I got Shane's face. And I took his face and put it on every single one. So like there's 2 looking this way and 2 looking this way, you know, and I just made that my back thing. And he's like, what the fuck is this? I'm going, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. The next day he had a fat Mexican dude in a banana hammock, dude, and he's doing that dance, dude. And I am fucking in tears, you know. And it's funny because the motherfucker will call me and he'll just laugh. He'll go, ah! Dude, we pissed off this one chick's kid is gay, right? And he's friends with this lady, and this lady was like, you homophobic motherfucker, just like lit me up. And I'm going, Shane, you better tell her, you know, tell her that this is between us, that we just offend each other,
right?
You know?
Comedy,
and you're just like the civilian casualty in the mix of it all, you know,
right?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. You know,
it's fun.
It's all ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
It's too much now.
That's fucking funny.
It's a
that is fucking funny, man.
It is. And people, you know, I mean, I've offended some of my friends that are gay, and you know, I feel bad about it because
you don't mean any harm.
I was on stage and I booked his band, and they're called Beauty of Decay, and I said, you know, next up is Beauty of Dick AIDS, you know, and I pissed off a friend of mine, and he actually came up to me. He's like, you know, listen, people do look up to you, no matter whether you believe that or not. He goes, you making, you know, derogatory comments about that shit, and I'm like laughing because I thought he was kidding,
right? And
he's looking at me, he's like, I'm fucking dead serious, like, and he's clenching his fist, and I'm going, hold on a second, man. I mean absolutely no harm behind any of it. It's just, you know, I mean, we grew up like that, you know. Right. Stop acting like a faggot. You know what I mean? Right. You say stupid shit like that. It's like, you know, listening to NWA and automatically you want to say nigga, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it comes out. You're just with your friends. I have black friends. Do I call them niggas? Absolutely not, because I don't want to get punched in the mouth. Yeah, right. You know, it's just kind of one of them things. But you just it happens, and you know, I mean, it happens, and I didn't mean to offend anybody by any of that. But it is what it is, man. You know, I'm fucking.
It's a sad. It is a sad day where you just have to watch what you say. I mean, you can't. How are you? How? What do you mean? How am I?
Well, yeah. Like you're insinuating your sexuality and gender and
the biggest joke is Facebook is you just go, okay, Don hates Mondays. 1, 2, 3, 4 comments and it's political now. Bam. Yeah. Oh, that's what a liberal would say.
Thanks, Trump.
Yeah, that's what a liberal would say. Exactly. Thanks, Trump. And it's like, okay, well, here you go,
Yeah. It's gone completely sideways. I mean, the world in general is so fucking pussified. It's ridiculous, man. You can't say a fucking thing to anybody.
Although I will say I would like taco stand on every corner because I like tacos.
Well, yeah, dude.
I don't know. I think this whole Facebook thing's going to take off.
Hopefully it takes the fuck off.
The fuck out of here. Oh, the fucking Homer Simpson internet is that thing still around?
Yeah, right. Yep.
Yeah, that too. The internet too.
Yep. I was just listening
that
to
that Seattle sound. It's going to be big,
right? Huge, dude. That grunge sound. I seen a Kmart ad where they were, doing flannels and fucking get into the grunge. It said it was on Facebook. Do you see that?
Are you serious?
It's like a Kmart ad, and it was like the circular, the fold out.
Oh no!
It had them all fucking had the bandanas around their head with the flannel and the fucking wrapped
pair of
around
fucking
their
docks on. Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, hilarious. Well, hey man, thank you guys so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
We're at the end of it all. Definitely check out Black Flood Diesel. They've got a lot of stuff in store, man. I know that they will wow you with what they've got coming up, and I'm excited to see you guys pull out some old tricks, man. Some old production. That'd be really cool. I think it'd be something nice for all of us old cats to see that come popping back up. I used to like your Matrix look, man. You used to rock that shit good, man. He had the fucking patent leather fucking trench coat on. That was the shit.
Yep, that was fun.
Yeah, dude.
Yep, just I think the city pages, they did a review of the Battle of the Bands that we won.
Yeah.
And I think it was kind of like half sarcastic the chick was, because it was like, we don't want to acknowledge the fact that this metal shit's going on,
right?
But we have to,
right?
And so like we won the thing or whatever, and they're like, here comes Pinhead. Right. Like you don't even realize how big of a compliment you just paid me by equating me over to fucking Pinhead from Hellraiser. Yeah, that's fucking awesome, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a good look.
Yeah.
Those and the dreadlocks.
Yeah.
So I'm in my aging years as I'm trying to slide into age.
You look so much better with long hair.
Yeah, I mean I'm just trying to keep it as slick as possible.
Yeah, man.
These days,
you're doing good, man. Yeah, I mean, Don's wife seems to think so. And he's good looking too.
Man, fuck you.
Yeah. Man, I will take my shirt off and we'll have PETA here in a minute. Yeah. Oh, that's fucking awesome.
Oh, no.
All right, so we're gonna go out on another Black Flood Diesel song. We've got what is it? Lust, Hunt, Kill.
Lust, Hunt, Kill.
Tell me that sounds like Lust, Hunt, Kill.
Yes, Lust, Hunt, Kill actually is one of the perspective tunes you're talking about. Sure. It's written from the eyes of Jack the Ripper.
Oh, nice.
It's a serial killer tune.
Right.
So, the whole piece is written from his fucked up brain.
Nice. The
courtship and then the ramp up into the chorus.
The teppanyaki?
Yeah. It's from the eyes of Jack the Ripper.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, thank you again for coming in and partaking into the madness here. I appreciate it very much. It's an honor to have you guys here. It's an honor to give these people the knowledge that you guys have all gathered throughout the years of being in this scene and really contributing so much to it. And I know a lot of people appreciate your work, and I know you guys are going to keep producing good shit. And I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to the new years of Black Flood, man. So keep up the good work, and I'm excited.
Thank you. It's an honor to be recognized.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And we'll keep that going too. Hey, fucking drop something this year so we can get you on the Medis.
Yep.
You're like, hey, what are you talking about? These guys dropped something this year. What do you mean?
Real quick on the Medis, and my one take too is talking about local music real quick, just to get my little political rant. If everybody that went to the fucking Medis would go out to a local show, we wouldn't have a fucking problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm as guilty as everybody. And like I said, like Chris says, everybody's trying to adult and be adulting.
400 people in one place that stayed the entire night.
Yeah.
It was packed the entire
And
night.
everybody goes, and then the second to last band, then everybody's out. The headliners.
Here's the thing, though, is a lot of people said, too, as, the bands were coming up to me throughout the night saying, this is the first time that I didn't have to play with these guys in the crowd with me, like I didn't have to worry about my gear getting up and down the stage. I didn't have to worry about, time frames. I just had to worry about getting here, having a good time, mingling with all these people. And I think the real consensus of it all is that, people have to realize that this is a night to come and rub elbows with people that you may have never played with before, but you get to meet and hear some bands that, you may have never been exposed to before. Right. And there's so much out there, man. We all know how much talent has been here for years. So it's only getting better with.
There's a lot more talent out there too. Obviously, Absolutely. The new breed is really good. I secretly hate them because they're really good.
Right. Yeah, me too. It's like they seem way more advanced than when we first came out. It's like, damn, fuck you guys, man.
Because their minds are so pure. Yeah. So new, so working well.
So nubile. Absolutely, folks. Thank you for tuning in. We're gonna head out. You guys got anything more to say?
Just thank you, my man.
Absolutely,
thank you very much,
brother. Absolutely. Yep. You guys check out richromanticspodcast.com. You know the drill. You can connect with us on a bunch of stuff. Just look over to the right. You'll just scroll down. You'll see all kinds of cool links and all kinds of cool pages you can connect with. Go check out DOTW Pod, Disciples of the Watch podcast. Very cool. Don't forget Root of All Evil, KFII's Fresh Air Radio. Check that shit out. Peace out.
Ritual Man is podcast. Ritual Man